Oh.
Yay, KSDM is now live.
Other notification. Live stream offline. Well, there we go.
Ooh, we got 11 subscribers now.
Ooh! We're famous. Yay!
Yay!
Beware the plotting DM.
Does it actually say that? I can't see it on mine.
This is what I see.
There we go. Wow, there's another Chaos DM with 27 videos who has 27 subscribers. What a bastard.
Well, there's another KSDM.
Yeah, apparently. Wow, there's another Chaos DM. Oh, that was trippy. Videos who have... That was trippy. Alright, I'm going to leave that so we've got at least one person watching. Woohoo!
I'm going to leave it open as well.
Yeah, me too. Not that will just completely kill my Wi-Fi, but never mind, it doesn't matter. I'm getting an Ethernet cable soon, which apparently will help.
4 people watching now.
Woo! I'm also leaving the live chat open just in case someone decides to talk.
Yeah, good idea. Also, hi, Risha.
Hello! Okay, are we ready to roll?
Yeah.
I believe we are ready to rock and roll.
No, we're not.
Is that a definite no from you and Belgarath over there?
Definitely no, we're not ready. Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah. Alright, we can do that, that's fine.
I just need to pick some new spells.
Okay. Use this opportunity to pick even better spells.
Yeah, I'm also just learning what meta magic is, and it's a whole meta weirdness.
Okay. Also, just for clarification, you should all be currently around the 1,300 XP mark. Some of you may have a little bit more or a little bit less.
Yeah? I think we should have a bit more now. That's where we were last week.
Yes, you haven't been updated yet though, so you have extra coming. You haven't had any updates.
That's exactly what I have written down. So.
Excellent.
1,300.
Yeah. As long as it's roughly what you should have, it's all fine. So.
It should be on there. I have no idea what page it's on. I'll just Google it.
Second page on the top. Normally.
And we haven't rested between last session and now, right?
Nope. You're still
No, I don't think we were rested. No.
You're still in the tower. Can you just bear with me, Tower, while we just have a half an hour nap? Would that be okay? Yeah? No?
Sleeping in the
I don't think we rested since entering the tower.
We don't have time to
It's a time-sensitive mission, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
said
so
every second counts. And so far we earned 30 seconds.
You've earned 30 seconds.
We need some more.
Oh, there's something like that.
So far, you guys entered the Tower of Tests after Arissa nearly killed you riding in the cart.
Yeah, but you didn't die.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't die, so it's fine. It's all fine.
We didn't go yet.
You guys then entered the tower and were told it was a Tower of Tests that would test all of you individually and grouply. And I believe the first person to be tested was Arissa, who had to do some...
you guys.
With the maze.
Yes, Arissa had a maze of mirrors, and it was a bit trippy.
It was amazing.
But
You did so well, Arissa.
Thank you.
Belgarath did even better.
that's where Puggerat started getting
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, hang on.
That's
Hashtag.
basically only just messing it up for them.
Why the heck do I?
Well, it has to happen naturally, because we can't be like always on it.
I think we should get that trending. Hashtag Hugapugarath. So, Arissa, with the help of you guys, managed to go through her test. And Arissa managed to gain some seconds of valuableness. And then Belgrath had a test, which he did not very much enjoy, where he was blinded. And the rest of you had to help him cross a maze of passages. And him and Pug had a lovely face-to-arse experience, I believe. And Hugapugarath was born.
There was some help involved.
And there was a lot of help involved. And you guys all banded together to help him. He got his sight back when he exited the room. And all in all, together, you guys have earned 30 seconds of valuable get-out time for getting out of the tower. So,
Does someone have explosives on there?
Maybe.
Because that would make the escape quite easy. We'll just blow up one of the walls and just jump.
But wait, we want to show our worth here. So this is the Tower of Tests or something. So we have to
Isn't outsmarting the tower with our escape, like proving our worth in itself?
But there's treasure inside.
Yeah, we might find more treasure if we stay in there. So,
Yeah, but I mean at the end, when like time comes to escape, just blow up one of the walls and escape.
depending on how high we are,
But Pixie does.
so we'll fall to our death.
No, we won't. No, we won't. I can make anybody fly.
Okay. if you make all of us fly, then I'll fall off your back.
Well, possibly Belgrath, but oh well.
Anyway.
well, it was quite tall. There is a picture.
Like how many feet?
Well, you're not entirely sure. It sort of came out of nowhere.
Okay, many feet.
Many.
We probably never checked.
Well, I tried flying to the top. I'm not sure if I ever got there because then I got the check.
Yeah, you went to like level 1. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that looks pretty tall.
Yeah.
You won't say that with your wings.
Yeah, exactly. Although everything looks tall to him, to be fair.
Nice.
Yeah. I was just about to say, like, everything is tall for me. Did I just hear Belgrath talking about this?
Basically, he's just going to have to do a bit of guessing for now, and I'll give him a little bit of leeway when he's making decisions and things. Plus, at least Belgrath has already had his test, so he's not going to have to do major rolls for himself for a while. So
he'll only endanger others.
exactly, it'll be great. So now we have the Sunday theme tune. How magical. And so, you guys find yourselves on level 3 of the Tower of Tests. Anna, you have just been invited to step through the black door into test number 3 on level 3.
Awesome sauce.
Have fun.
Thanks. I'll step forward.
Alrighty. So, Anna, you step forward into a dimly lit room. The rest of you, you huddle round the outside of the room, and you can't really see anything right now. It's just a corridor, and you wait. Anna, you hear a voice which says to you, "Longing to be the best can lose us what is truly amazing." Those of you outside, Ariel, you suddenly feel like your body is growing, and you're about twice as tall as you used to be, and a bit bigger. Everyone else, you feel yourselves shrinking.
Oh god.
Oh no. Okay.
Can everybody who is not in the room, so everyone but Arissa, please roll me a initiative.
Risha?
Right
Can you roll for me?
Anna.
Rosie.
Yes, I can do.
I got plus 2 with initiative.
I've got your sheet, don't worry.
I got plus 2 on it.
Wait,
My initiative is 10.
Okay, disembodied voice of
Awesome.
Belgarath.
This is my voice. Yes, you are.
Yeah, I got you, Cass.
how does being taller affect my initiative?
It doesn't for now.
Well,
I like that for now.
that's only slightly scary.
Very scary. Very, very scary.
I'll survive for a
Don't
bit.
be a pervert.
I didn't roll like really well on my hit points though, so.
Alright. That's everyone except Anna who's now rolled. Yes, and Cass, I've added your 2. Okay, so I'll tell you your initiative order when it becomes necessary. So, Anna, as the voice speaks, the lights come up in the room, and you see that there is a large pit in the middle of the room, and it is full of glittering gems and jewels. And can you roll me a perception, please? No, investigation, actually.
Okay.
Alrighty. You can tell that these are very expensive gems and jewels. They have come from very rich, lustrous mines. If you had even one of these in one of your creations, you would be able to charge maybe triple the price, and you would be instantly able to sell to more rich and wealthy people. These are very, very exquisite, high-end, beautiful items, and your eyes go a little bit anime wide, and you sort of like, ooh.
Yeah, I want them all.
Good. You also see that there are 5 like podiums balanced precariously on sticks in this big pit of gemstones, and on each of the podiums is a fluffy squirrel.
Oh my god!
It's all an illusion.
This is amazing. Can I just like live in here? Just stay here forever.
This is like your favourite place in the entire world. At the moment, you can't really see an exit door. Just FYI. So, initiative order first. Let me see. Ariel, could you please roll me a dexterity check?
Okay.
So, do you see the world as normal? Where we are a bit shrunk down, right?
At the
Is that all
moment,
just the same size?
you've seen a very bright light, and you guys are blinking, a bit confused and a bit disgruntled.
Oh god, yeah, my eyes are closed
Yeah.
and caved in the face.
Okay, Ariel, you got an 18. Okay, good to know.
Not looking.
Okay, everybody who is not Enna, could you please roll me a charisma save?
Let's see.
Save.
Yes, I'm doing yours, don't worry.
Yeah, I got plus 6 on it.
Yeah, you've got... Your charisma's fine, plus you rolled a nat 20.
Nice. That's it, people.
Okay. Okay. Pug, you do not like being smaller than you are used to. Your body feels weird, you feel wobbly, you feel strange. Belgarath, you feel weird. You feel trippy right now. Everything is bright and colourful and weird, and you can't make, like, everything is blurry and it's all friggin' weird. Everyone else, there's a bright light, you can't quite make out anything yet. Kest, your eyes are shut. Everyone else, you're blinking and it's a bit like, what, where are we? Enna, the first squirrel wobbles and starts to slip off his podium and is about to fall onto the really, really, really quite pointy and sharp pile of gemstones. Would you like to do anything?
Am I close enough that I could like reach out my hand and try and catch him?
You're not close enough to catch, but you could jump in the pit and try and catch him.
Will I injure myself or something in the pit?
That sort of depends on your roll.
Yeah, I want to try and like save him. And if I end up in the pit, sure, I'll just grab some gems and put them in my pocket.
Exactly. Before or after you save the squirrel. So if you're gonna jump in the pit, can you roll me an athletics check?
Okay. 14.
Okay. 14. 14 is alright. You land, you stand on a lot of the hard gemstones, but you don't catch yourself. They are quite sharp under your feet, though. You can feel it through your boots and stuff. This squirrel is wobbling and it's now started to fall. If you can jump forward and catch him if you want, you're going to need to make a dexterity check.
Yeah. I shall do that.
Moment. Did Ariel wobble?
No comment.
Ooh, 20.
Sorry.
Okay, Ariel, the entire world falls out from underneath you, and you suddenly find yourself falling through the air. And then, with a small smack, you find yourself looking up at a very, very large, wide-eyed Enna, who is cradling you in her hands. She's not as big as she used to be. You have grown by about twice your body size, and as you sit there in her outstretched hands, you feel fluffy, and you've got a tail. This is weird.
Oh no! I don't want to be hairy.
What?
Can they talk? Can I understand them, or do they just sound like squirrel squeak?
At the moment, you just heard a squeak as you fell off the podium.
Enna, what's going on?
Enna, you hear the squirrel go.
I'm just gonna like give him a little hug and a pat on the head, but because I can't understand what he's saying, but I love him.
I'm gonna try and bite.
You're gonna bite Enna?
Don't bite me! I saved you! You fell and I saved you!
Oh yeah, fair. Okay, I won't bite this time.
This inner dialogue the squirrel has with itself. The squirrel is now sort of sitting up in your hand, looking round confusedly. What would you like to do with the squirrel?
Okay, I'm good. Can I put him back up on the podium, or I'll just put him down on the ground or something?
You could
Put him
put him
somewhere where
down.
he's safe.
You could put him down on the pile of gemstones and things if you like, because if he doesn't fall, it should be all right.
Yeah, I'll just put him down on the ground so he can like stand up by himself. So that might make him a little bit happier. And then as I do that, I take up gems and stuff my pockets full of gems.
Uh-oh. It's a big pile of shiny, right?
It's a very
Yes, all the shiny.
I'm gonna pick the biggest gemstone and hug it.
Okay, can you please roll me a dexterity check when you do that? Ariel, because the biggest gemstone is almost as big as you and it's kind of sharp and pointy.
Good point.
Okay.
Yeah, can mesmerize.
While you're doing that, Pug, can you please roll me a dexterity check? Okay, Errol, you can hug it, and you manage to avoid the sharp, pointy bits. The squirrel, Enna, is now hugging a really big gem and sort of drooling a bit, and you're a bit confused.
Wait 1 second, I gotta make a roll.
Yep.
Oh, that's a nat 20.
Woo! Alright.
That's much better, yeah.
Alright, Pug, you blink your eyes, the room comes into focus. You are balancing on a podium, which is wobbling like crazy, over a very sharp pit of like jewels and diamonds and things, and you see your hands, and they're little squirrel claws, and you've got whiskers and a big bushy tail, and nothing else. You're just like naked and fluffy.
Oh god, I can still punch my claws, right?
You can certainly try. I mean, there's nothing for you to punch right now, but, you know.
Okay, let me try to climb down the thing precariously.
Alright, can you roll me a athletics check with disadvantage?
Athletics with disadvantage, alright. Well, with athletics, 17.
17. Okay, you start to move down the podium, but as you do so, it starts to wobble because it's just on like one long rod, and you slip a little bit, but you manage to hold onto the podium and stop it from wobbling. If you keep moving down, it's going to sort of wobble and tip over and send you flying into the pit.
Okay.
You can keep trying though. Like, you've got down a little bit. But for now...
There's nowhere I can jump to or anything?
You've got the other podiums where there's other squirrels, and there's one empty one. And you've got the edge of the pit, and that's about 6-7 feet away.
Okay. We're not the flying squirrel kind, are we?
You can certainly try.
Only one way to find out.
Meanwhile, Cass, you are also very aware that you are a squirrel. And you
Oh my god, this is disgusting!
are on a podium. Same
Can we
thing.
just stop this? I want to get squishing.
Can you roll me a dexterity check, Cass? Oh, I'll roll it for you.
Yeah, I'm like almost there.
That's okay.
Like dice back. But I have plus 2 in dexterity.
Okay, well, you start to wobble a little bit. I'm very sorry, you didn't roll very well. Even with the +2. Okay, you start to wobble, and Enna, you notice that a very dark, disgruntled looking squirrel over to your left, which is going... has now started to fall off its bed.
Oh no! I want to try and save her. I'm gonna try and catch her in my arms if she falls.
Okay, can you make me a acrobatics check to get all the way to the other side of the pit?
Okay.
Not one.
That's looking up. What can I tell about what's going? Because I don't want to look into the light.
Okay.
But I'm kind of concerned about falling.
Okay, you can see a lot of multicolours. You can't quite make out what they are. You can see a lot of sort of sharp points that are flashing at you. You can sort of see another squirrel on a podium off to the side of you, and you start to fall through the air, and you hear a no, and a sort of kajish, 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 and you see a very blurry Enna come sort of like bounding towards you, like pirouetting over the biggest piles of the sharper objects, and leap towards you. And Enna, can you do a dexterity check to see if you can catch her?
Yeah, I tried to her to leave me alone, but she can't understand.
Ooh, 21!
Sweet.
Woo!
Yeah, I struggle against her. Let me
Okay.
go!
Okay, I've only been paying attention because I've been learning magic and stuff. What's happening?
Well, Cass, Cass, you are caught by
Right,
Anna.
when Ursula's lost the squirrel.
Okay.
Anna is now like massive to you, with really tall, with big hands. She's now caught you and is holding you. And Anna, you have this very dark, very angry squirrel like wrathering around in your hands, going.
I give her a really big hug and a squeeze, and I just wrap it up.
Okay.
Rosie, I used Mr. Teleport.
And I whisper in her ear, "You're my new best friend."
Oh my god.
Forever.
Rosie, can I use magic? Can I use magic?
Yes, sure. You can use Misty Step. Where do you want to go?
I'm using Mr. Step and teleport 30 feet away.
Okay. Anna, the dark squirrel vanishes from your hands and reappears with a thud against the edge of the pit, because the entire room is not 30 feet wide. So you go as far as you can, and then it goes and gets thrown backwards and lands on a couple of the gemstones. And Cass, you take 2 hit points of damage.
Oh.
I got away from the crazy time.
Hey, I helped save you. You're less injured now because of me, so you're welcome.
Not necessarily.
You're welcome.
I was emotionally injured. Thank you.
Can Belgarath and Arissa please roll me dexterity checks now, please? I really want to do a cartoon of Anna just like running around a room, like trying to do like spinning plates with the squirrels.
My roll is not on point today.
Ah. Well, let's hope you don't land on the points then. Okay. Arissa, you snap your eyes open, blink, scratch your eyes for a second, and instantly realise, I'm a squirrel. I'm a squirrel. I know how this. I'm a squirrel again. Yay! And you're on a very precarious podium. You move your paw a little bit and you realise the whole thing starts to like wobble, and you look down and there's a very long drop and then a lot of sharp shiny things. Belgarath, you are still feeling like, what? Shiny? Whoa! And the whole world starts to spin and your whole head starts to go whoa, whoa. And in it you see a sort of very pale squirrel looking a bit sick balancing on his podium, and the whole thing starts to sway from side to side. Any second now this squirrel's going to start falling.
Am I still able to use magic in squirrel form?
You can certainly try.
Okay, it's just good to know just in case I need it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it might not. Cass's sort of worked.
Okay.
I'm so glad it did. I'm so glad it did.
Well, if I see him wobbling, I'm gonna run over and like open my arms so he knows that if he falls, I will catch him.
Okay.
How far away am I from Anna at the moment?
If she runs over to you, then she's at the bottom of your podium, which is about, to you in squirrel, it'll be about 7 squirrel heights below you, her head. And what you see now is through the mass of waving, swirly, shiny colours, you see this really big face. And what she's saying is, I'll catch you! But what you see in your sort of half-high state is this big face with a mouth that opens and shuts and opens and shuts. And these big hands reaching towards you.
Okay.
That's a bit scary.
So
Okay.
you actually have a reason to be scared rather than me, but okay.
In that sort of situation, I would probably panic.
Okay, squirrel panic. What are you going to do?
Have I seen the spikes underneath me, or am I completely unaware?
You can't see the spikes. You can just see like a mass of swirly colours at the moment.
Okay, well then I'm probably going to jump away from the big yawning, gaping mouth thing.
Okay.
No, let's go.
Okay, can Belgarath, I would like you to roll me a strength check to make a big leap.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Oh no.
He rolled a 2.
Oh no. Okay, and it's I just want to love you. Okay, and as you run over and desperately try to reach the pale squirrel and go, it's okay, I'll catch you. The squirrel, in a sort of drunken state, scrabbles to the other side of the platform and just sort of like leaps off. It catches its back paw like a terrible spring dive, and it means that his trajectory has changed, and instead of making a big splayed out, dive for the floor, he instead makes a sort of belly flop and sort of flips over a couple of times and then belly flops and is about like 20 seconds away from landing completely belly first on a big pile of spiky things. I will let you have a dexterity check if you want to try and somehow leap.
Okay, Rosie, could you say all that again? Because I don't know what's going on with the sound at the moment, but I didn't get most of that.
Okay. My upload is still uploading, so it's taking up my Wi-Fi, but it's only got 6 minutes left, and I'm loath to shut it off now.
That's fair enough. It's just be aware of that when you're talking very, very fast. You're talking very, very fast, so I'm missing a lot of what you're saying.
Hang on, Belgrand squirrel makes a leap, fails,
Rise.
belly flops towards spiky gem pile. Anna
Right, okay.
may roll dex to save.
Yes, please roll dex to save it. I would appreciate it.
Fluffy squirrel.
Don't let the squirrels drop.
18!
Hey!
I like my chances with that.
We'll have a squirrel kebab. Crunchy gemstones. Okay, Anna, you manage to leap and you push the podium out of the way and it topples over. No! Squirrel friend! And you leap, and Anna takes 1 hit point of damage from the gemstones as you land precariously, like it sort of scratches your elbows and things, but you manage to cup the little pale squirrel as he lands. And catch him in your hands. Belgarath, the whole world has gone very brightly coloured, but you suddenly hit something sort of warm and sort of soft, and it cups you, and you feel like you're being hugged by a giant pair of hands. And then you sort of blink, and you are being hugged by a giant pair of hands.
Squeezed by a giant pair of hands. Very, very tight hug.
Can you do that in Irish?
You want to do squirrel squeeze in Irish?
Do it.
Very loving.
Wow, that was offensive.
That was actually brilliant.
I liked it.
Thank you.
So Belgarath, you're now slightly aware that you're a squirrel. Feeling very dazed. Feeling very dazed and confused. And Arissa, you are the only one left on your podium apart from Puggywug, who is sort of clinging on for dear life and trying to work out how to do this. Arissa is sort of sat there looking magnificent, like, wow, this is great. I'm a squirrel again. Excellent.
This is
So, Arissa, what would you like to do as your squirrel?
Groom.
Alright.
Yeah, I believe that.
Anna, you notice a bright yellow squirrel just sat pruning itself and licking its paws and like giving itself a good all-over cleaning and like sprucing its tail and making itself look fine and fancy. It even seems to be twirling its eyelashes, although you're not sure how.
Can I go over and try and coax her down? And try and calm her down?
Of
To be
course.
friends with me?
Of
Do I
course.
recognise her as Emma?
You do. Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yay! Come on, squirrel friend! Jump down and be with us! We're all down here!
I look at her, finish my grooming, and then I'll go.
Okay. Are you just going to literally just leap into her outstretched hands?
Yes.
Okay. Could
I hope I catch her.
Could you make could Anna make a dexterity to catch her and Arissa make a dexterity with advantage for jumping down?
So get, yeah?
Yes.
Pretty brave.
Hello?
I hear nothing. There we go.
Okay, we got a sound back now.
Hello!
Oh, what the hell is going on? Oh, that's off the desk.
I think you need to show as well, though.
Just a dex up my acrobatics.
You can use your acrobatics, of course you may. With advantage, because you've got something to land on.
So that a yes or no to acrobatics?
Yes.
Okay, with advantage, okay.
Because
Okay,
you have something to land on.
I'm going with the 18. That was higher.
Okay. Are you just making casual squirrel noises now?
I was actually trying to lure the kitty into, like, showing
Aww.
up my desk and, like, cuddling. But
Aww, okay. Alright, Arissa, you manage to leap off and jump perfectly into Enna's hands. Enna, you manage to catch her with no issues. You still cannot understand each other, but Arissa, you know who Enna is. Enna, as far as you're aware, these are still just awesome squirrel buddies.
Yeah. I'm gonna give her a little hug and a pat on the head, and I'm gonna put her gently down on the ground.
I'm gonna fix my hair.
Okay, you've got a blonde squirrel who's now sitting, redoing all of her hair and sorting out her fluff. And you've got one remaining squirrel who almost has a twirly whisker moustache going on, who is holding onto his podium and sort of scrabbling to get back up there. Sort of like he's swinging with the podium, but Pug, can you make me a dex check?
Dex check, yes.
Yes.
16.
16? That's pretty good.
17.
17. Okay, cool. You managed to hold on. You're only holding on with your front paws now, though. But you're hanging on in there. You're sort of up on your little squirrel elbows and sort of like flailing your back feet and wiggling your tail around, trying to look for somewhere to maybe land.
So I squeak like loudly at Anna. Please come here.
Wait, so he's still holding on, he hasn't fallen yet.
He hasn't fallen yet, no. He's still holding on. He's sort of scrabbling his back legs, and you hear a very large...
Like, if I go over and I kind of jump up a little bit, will I be able to grab onto him? Could I grab him and like pull him down into my arms and force him to be my little squirrel friend?
Of course, I condone this with anyone. Forcible friendship by grabbing is the way to go.
That's how you make friends, touching inappropriately.
Inappropriately, grab them without their permission.
Especially if they're fluffy squirrels.
Especially if they're fluffy, and if you tell them that you think they're fluffy, I think that will only help you. So, if you would like to make a jump, so if you would like to make a... I'll just say it's dex. Make a dexterity check to jump and grab him.
Okay. 17!
Nice. Okay, Pug, you feel...
You don't have teleportation. It's too late now.
Pug, your
Yes.
bottom and legs are grabbed by a very large something. It feels like a
Oh
hand.
god.
And you
I
feel
feel like
yourself
if I hang on, I'm just gonna get pulled too.
you
I'm gonna let go.
feel yourself being pulled, and you're sort of gripping on with your squirrel claws to the podium now. What do you want to do?
And also, while I'm doing this, I'm screaming, "Come on, squirrel friend, come down to us!" So he knows that I'm being in my own way.
So, Pug, do you want to go with it, or is it bad touch?
Yeah. I'm just gonna let it happen then.
Okay. The squirrel lets go of the podium and flumps into your hand.
Yay! I I give him the biggest cuddle ever.
Oh god.
and I kind of swing back and forth like he's a baby in my arms.
I struggle as hard as I can.
Okay.
I'm not letting go.
Hug, roll a strength check.
It's fine. Strength is...
But you're a tiny squirrel. You're not gonna make it. You're
16.
Yeah, the DC was pretty high on that, man. You managed to kick her pinky finger away from you on one hand, but that's it.
It's progress. I'm getting there.
Well, I'll put him down on the ground now, because I mean, we're all stuck down in the pit together now, so they have to be my friends, so.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you're all stuck with me.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Some
people here can teleport.
As you all get down, Enna, you notice that a door marked exit has appeared at the very edge of the pit. And you feel that the ground below you, like sand through a sieve, is starting to trickle away. You're gonna have to like make a dash for this exit door.
Can I very quickly grab as many gemstones as I can and like put them in any plate? Like I'll put them down my top, I'll put them in my pants, I'm putting them everywhere I can because I want to grab as many as physically possible before I dash to the exit.
Sure you can. Roll me a d20, just a straight d20.
15.
Okay. Okay. Alright, the door is open, but it's closing slowly, and everything on the ground is slowly, like, disappearing away, and the door is getting higher and higher up the wall. What are you guys all going to
As the
do?
squirrels, can we run away? Can we run towards the exit?
You can certainly have a go. Yep.
Okay, that's what I'm
We don't
doing.
have like pockets, right? So we're not taking anything with us.
I mean,
gems
you
are
could carry a
as
gem. One squirrel could carry one gem, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to take the big one that Ariel's cuddling, you could probably do one between three of you.
No, I will just take a normal gem that I can carry normally.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take one that I can carry.
To be fair, considering Errol is like really close to the really shiny, you won't even notice that the room is like that the exit appeared and such.
Roll a perception for me.
Yeah, I really hope you do notice that, because otherwise you're going to die.
Well, Anna, what are you going to do? Are you going to help your squirrel buddies out, or are you just going to, like, die looking for gemstones?
I think I'm preoccupied with the gems at the moment.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's all for yourself.
TPK! TPK!
No, the squirrels are running away.
So we can't.
One squirrel is running away, Cass. One squirrel.
So it's only the player who died before.
Did we have to roll anything for running away?
Ariel, you do not notice the door, but you notice that everyone else has suddenly started to grab onto gemstones and then make their way... Well, you notice that Cass has grabbed a gem and started running. Well, another squirrel. Sorry, you know that's Cass. A very dark, angry-looking squirrel has grabbed a gem and started running away. You notice that because she runs past you.
I'm gonna act instinctively and try to shake pixie dust onto the big gemstone.
Okay. The gemstone starts to float in the air.
Nice! I jump onto it and like towards the door so that I can like float the giant shining rock towards the door.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna surf on this like gemstone.
How do you pedal it? Like, how do you make it?
I jump towards it, like I give it like momentum by jumping onto it.
Yeah, but it might stop afterwards.
Well, at which point I jump off and jump on again.
Okay. So you're just pushing it.
Yeah. Basically just like trying to float on it as long as I can and then jump off and like...
Okay.
We got pixie dust as well.
He has pixie dust as a squirrel. It's only a form.
Okay.
I love that actually works. I did not expect that.
Okay, so what's happened now is you've got one very fluffy squirrel sitting on a magic gemstone which is floating him towards the door, which you can now see, Ariel. You've got one very dark, grumpy squirrel who's grabbed a gemstone and made a peg it towards the door. Enna, you've now finished stuffing your pockets with as many gems as you can. I'll tell you how many later. And you look around and you see that 2 squirrels are making for the exit. You've got 3 more squirrels. One of whom, I believe, has grabbed a gemstone. Yeah, Pug, the one with the moustache, has grabbed a gemstone. What are the rest of you going to be doing?
That's me and Risha left, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, I don't really give a foopling heck about gemstones, so I'm just going to peg it.
Okay. Alright, you guys can peg it towards the door, that's fine.
Unless I spot a tiny tiara.
You can't see a tiara at the moment. You can see gemstones that would make a very nice tiara.
Priority.
No actual tiara, sadly.
Ooh.
But you could make a tiara out of gemstones.
So, Enna, you're the last person left. What are you doing?
Have all the squirrels made it to the door?
They will have done, yeah. Arissa and Pop
Okay.
and Belgrath, you don't know this, but they're the last ones getting there.
Then I'll just run to the door.
Awesome, alright. Make me one final dexterity check for running across the room to get to the door.
Is it everyone or just Anna?
Just Enna.
13.
Alrighty.
Don't step on us.
I'll try not to.
With your
Okay.
giant feet.
A few gemstones slip out of your pockets as you run because it's very
No!
but you manage to make a dive for the door just as it starts to close, and you find yourselves back in the corridor. Ariel, you shrink and become a pixie again, and the gemstone is hovering next to you in the air. Everyone else, you grow, and suddenly in front of you, Enna, you have all of your friends clutching, some of them clutching gemstones, all of them looking very confused, Cass looking very, very grumpy.
Stupid first.
Aww, I
You
can't
get the sword back now, there, right?
Yep, everyone has
Well, thank God,
back again.
over.
Just to confirm, everyone's got all their weapons
Yay.
back and everything. Woohoo!
What the
Oh, yeah.
hell was that?
Oh, well, thank God for that, because I was wondering if I'd be able to find another big stick.
I'm kind of sad. I liked y'all better when you were squirrels.
I just got better and
I miss my
Maybe keep your hands off of people that you don't know.
I miss my fluffy squirrel buddies.
Well, it's not
Oh,
being touched
shit.
inappropriately, so...
Look here.
I saved you. You would have fallen and hurt yourself. I helped you. You're welcome.
You know, we could have done without the squeezing to death a little bit.
Well, you were really fluffy and cute, so I'm not going to apologize for that.
Okay, look here, Anna. If you want to sleep well, I would suggest to try to touch me less, okay?
Well, now that you're a big, scaly, scary person again, I don't think I'm going to touch you anymore. So
It's
don't worry about it.
in the future as well. You don't need to get close to me.
Unless you turn into a fluffy animal again, then you need to worry.
Even then. No.
No, I'm not making any promises. Sorry. No.
Then I'm not making any promises about slip daggers and that sort of stuff.
Breath weapons.
At this point, you hear a cool, calm voice from the echoing tower say to you, Level 3, done. Extra seconds acquired, 15.
Nice.
Well, that sounds promising. Now we gotta move on.
Yeah, 45 so far.
Oh, Ariel, yes. The gemstone that was almost too heavy for that was almost too heavy for 2 squirrels to carry, but it's floating. You can keep it floating with fairy dust, but you can't carry it.
Errol, should I keep hold of your zip?
Or maybe the girl who just saved his ass from falling and hurting himself on all the gemstones should get the gemstone.
To be fair, you are still the half-elf. I trust Cass more. Cass, would you please hold on to this for me?
Of course.
I am a full elf, I will have you know. I am no half-elf.
Okay, that's slightly better.
Oh, Errol, don't goof there.
Oh.
Racist.
I have my reasons.
There's nothing wrong with races.
I'm pretty sure the last century was a bit different there, kid.
It's just knowing what's best for him.
To be fair, Belgrath, I think I made a vow against humans and half-elves, so...
Well then, it makes sense that you're hanging out with a party that is predominantly half-elves and elves and one human.
At the moment, there's only half of the party that I don't trust. I have a chart to keep track of that.
So just, the majority. It's fine.
Yay!
From the people now present, it's the majority, yeah.
Cass,
If Kiara ever returns, I trust her.
You're not human?
Cass, are you able to roll your stuff yet, or are you not home yet?
Yes, yeah, I'm totally home. Like, I'm fine. Yeah, I can roll.
In which case, you guys get told by the special voice to enter the elevator to level 4.
I fly in.
Well, you wonder whose test it'll be next.
Just wait and see. It could be anyone.
It could be absolutely anyone, and you won't like me.
Apart from me, Rhea, and... Crap, who was first? I forgot.
The one sat next to you right now? Never mind. Sorry. Okay.
It was 2 weeks ago! Give me a break!
No, never. Alright, so you come out on another darkened corridor that says level 4. And you guys come out, and everyone falls into the corridor, and a big black door is before you, and the voice says, Cass, enter.
It's better not be bright in there. And I go.
And the door shuts
Wait,
behind
sorry, I missed that. Is it Cass's turn?
Yes.
Oh god, if that wasn't
Sorry.
At least it's not bright.
Yeah,
That was Cass doing a dragon roar or something.
You may use the sound bite of my god for dragon roars.
I shall. Maybe a little baby dragon. Okay. Those of you who are not in the room, so everyone except Cass, you guys are standing out in the corridor, and you then find yourselves in a sort of weird... You can feel a lot of wind, you can feel a lot of pressure, and you guys are blinking, and you can't... While you guys are making out what's going on, meanwhile, Cass. As you step into the room, you like it initially. It's quite dim, quite dark. And you hear a voice, and it says to you, "We all need allies."
Oh god, we're going to die.
not me. Okay, I'm looking around, trying to see the source of the voice or what's inside the room, that sort of stuff.
It says, "We all need allies. We are powerless without them." And when it's finished speaking, you, once again, and it really probably pisses you off, you find yourself shrinking again. You're great.
Small and big again. I wish the universe would just make up its mind sometimes.
Always.
Can we see her?
You cannot see her yet. You guys are still sort of blinking in this big, strong gale. Cass,
Okay.
you are not as small, thankfully. You are not as small as the squirrel However, you keep shrinking and shrinking down, and your limbs get slightly shorter and smaller, and you find yourself...
Do I look like a child?
You find yourself in your, maybe, in human years, it would be 6 or 7. You're about 6 or 7 years old. You've still got your own brain. You're still you, but your body is you when you're about 7 years old.
Okay. Can I use magic? I want to test it out.
You can try.
I will shoot an eldritch blast into the ground. Just to see if it works.
Roll me a d20, and your spells come from your charisma, don't they? Because you're a warlock.
Yeah.
Alright, roll me a d20 and add your charisma. With disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fine. Just a straight charisma modifier?
Mm-hmm.
So that's...
Okay. Okay. Cass, your Eldritch Blast shoots out of your hand and ricochets off something about 6 feet in front of you, and then around the walls of the room. You have to duck to avoid it before it disintegrates into one of the walls.
Okay, well, at least I know that my spells work.
It feels very temperamental, is the only word I will say to you at the moment.
So does it feel like when I was a child, or...?
It feels a lot less powerful. So it's like when a child is first learning to use power and things, it's very... Sometimes it might come out and be like a 10 out of 10, and sometimes it's a...
Okay.
So you're not sure. And the Eldritch Blast actually, when it hit the thing that's just in front of you, the room became a little bit lighter. It's not so light that you don't like it.
But I can see the dark. It's fine.
Yeah. It was just a sort of misty, like you couldn't quite make out what was going on. But now you can hear the whistling of like strong winds, and you can see in front of you is a sheer cliff face with like rock and things. You guys, the rest of you, you look down, you are all attached to a rope which is attached to the top of this sheer cliff face. You're all maybe 10 feet away from each other, and Cass, you're right at the bottom, and the exit door is right at the top.
Well, I think I've seen this show before.
Okay, so they're all holding onto a rope.
They're all attached to a rope. You can sort of make them out. They're all attached to a rope, and the closest one to you is Risha, and she's about 10 feet off the ground, and she's got the end of the rope tied tightly around her waist. And she's like, you guys are all you're very comfortable. The rope is holding your weight. You can't move the rope, but you can hold onto the rock a lot easier, so you could climb with advantage, essentially, because you're more sturdy. Cass, what y'all want to do?
I probably have some rope on me as well. Okay. So do these people need help to climb up, or they can just climb up fine?
Those guys are absolutely fine.
Yes, there's no wrong answers, apart from the one that leads to us all being gruesomely killed.
And you don't know what that could be. Any answer could be a wrong answer in my world.
What?
Door's above us, right? To get out?
Yes. Well, Cass can see the door. You guys are on the cliff face, so you guys can't actually see the door.
Okay, so I take out some rope and throw it to Mercer and ask her to tie it to her end of the rope.
Alrighty. Aressa, do you want to do that?
So just suddenly this end of the rope just comes swarming towards me.
No, I'm asking,
You can see
asking
Cass.
you,
She's shouting to you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, Arissa, would you mind tying the rope to your rope?
Does she look like just a tiny dragon person?
You saw her shrink. The rest of you, if all of you saw her shrink down. She still looks like her, but she's like a kid.
She's so cute. I will do anything for that cute little face.
Smush, smush, smush. Smush, smush, smush.
Did anyone say cute?
Out loud.
I didn't say it out loud.
Okay, that's fine then.
Arissa, learning.
She can do that.
So, Cass, you shout out to Arissa and ask if she's going to catch the rope.
Yeah, if she would mind catching the rope and tying it to her.
Sure. Okay. What's going on?
I actually have no idea. We're hanging off the edge of a cliff on ropes.
Yeah.
Well, we all have to climb up to the entrance. No, the exit.
Oh, we have to climb up? Okay.
I thought the entrance was down by Kess.
No,
The entrance
well,
is
the
down.
entrance door.
The exit.
The exit?
Oh, the exit is at the top. Right, so we're up the cliff on ropes. Kess is at the bottom, so do we have to go down and get her?
She's trying to...
No, I already threw up at the end of her rope.
She threw up?
No, I threw rope to Arissa.
Okay. Do I have to roll to catch it, or am I okay to just catch?
Because you're the closest to her, I'm going to say you can just catch it. But if you're going to tie it, make like a dexterity to tie it tightly enough to keep her weight.
Alright. Not well.
Oh god.
Okay, Arissa ties an end of the rope to just above her, so it's sitting just above where her knot is attaching her to the end of the rope round her waist. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that, my hands on it though.
Okay. Cass, you gonna climb?
Well, probably the top person should start climbing, or we should all climb at the same time.
We're all attached to the same rope, right?
Yes,
attached
so
to
we
the
should
same
probably climb at the same time.
You can try. Are you going to communicate this to everybody? There is a lot of wind,
Yes.
so Arissa can hear you right now, but Pug at the top cannot hear anyone. Your order is top is Pug. Under him is Errol. Here you go.
Wait. So we're flying. So we're climbing.
We will have to. We are currently not climbing, we are just attached to a rope.
Out of character, I'm guessing we have to do some sort of seesaw type thing with counterweights and stuff. So if Pug climbs up, then that lets Arissa down. Is that the sort of thing we're doing here?
We're
Or?
all attached to the same rope.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We are one.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
we are
so
attached
it's
to
just
a
like
single
one
rope.
thing. Okay.
So we probably have to do synchronized climbing or something.
I was getting the wrong end of the stick then. I apologize.
Wrong end of the rope.
Can I offer a different?
Get in the sea.
I am on fire today.
That's why you should get in the sea.
Okay, so can I just start climbing up?
Can I offer a different solution?
Pug, at the moment, you have no idea what's happening underneath you. There is a lot of wind. You can see Ariel attached to a very tiny strand of the rope beneath you, about 10-20 feet beneath you. You guys could speak to each other, but below that you can just see wind and you can vaguely see Kess at the bottom, but it's very high. There's about 10-15 feet between each of you, so that's a good 70 feet at least that the whole thing is.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Alright, so I'm gonna tell Errol, hey Errol, I'm gonna start climbing up. You think that's a good idea?
Well, yeah, I think it's best if we go up because the cliff's right there, right? But I might have a different idea if we need to go up.
Yeah, shake your pixie dust on him.
Yeah. So I start shaking pixie dust.
Okay, so he's shaking his and having
I'm just gonna fly away.
glittering dust spraying up.
Okay. Ariel, who are you going to try and hit? Because you can only really aim for one person at a time right now.
The person closest to me first.
Okay, the person closest to you, just underneath you, I believe, let me check, is Enna.
Woo!
Okay.
In that case,
You're getting
Okay.
dusted enough.
Ariel, can you roll me a dexterity check? Because there's a lot of wind to see if you can aim your butt.
Wait, does it come out of his butt?
Yeah.
something like that.
Out of his
Oh,
butt.
Just like Tinkerbells.
I don't think I'm enjoying this experience.
18.
Yeah, kinda, well, never mind. Never mind.
Oh wait, no, 17, sorry.
So I was gonna say I'd rather come out of her butt than his butt, but whatever.
Okay.
So do
Okay.
you even know, like, my race yet? Or my gender yet?
Me?
I'm not
Because
sure.
technically pixies are entirely different from humans, right?
That's true.
I like everyone. I like all people and creatures.
It doesn't matter, we are on a cliff face right now. No one is having inappropriate moments, right?
As you were thinking that, Enna, you look up and see a shower of sort of gold, glittery, silvery dust land, all swept up in the wind, and it's sort of, some of it hits you in the face, and some of it hits you in your middle, and you find that your head and your middle start to try to drift away from and go up, but you're attached to the rope, so you can't go up. You like start to drift to the side away from the cliff face, and it's kind of worrying because you're sort of kicking in midair. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna start panicking now. I don't know what's going on.
Ariel is now having a full-on like laugh at you, and Enna is having a proper panic attack. And Kess and Arissa and Belgarath underneath her, your rope is now starting to pull slightly away from the cliff face, and you're having to grip onto it so that you can hang on.
Okay, so
What's going on up there?
the rope is lighter than it was, right? Because I'm assuming everyone's like not just sort of on, but like attached to it, like tied onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wind right now, I think.
Yeah.
So the idea is I'm gonna have to pull, like, carry them up essentially.
Or we could do
not
synchronized
necessarily.
climbing.
I mean, even if we synchronize climb, it's like I'm still gonna have to pull everyone up.
Not if everyone else is climbing. No.
Okay, I might be confused then. Okay.
Well, it depends on how tight the rope. But like, even if the rope is tight, if the people at the bottom climb up enough so the rope isn't tight, then we can just climb at the same. And yeah. Okay, so basically, how about I start climbing and I climb up to just below Arissa, and then tell Arissa to climb up just below Belgarath, and then so on.
Okay.
And then we can play Chinese whispers with people telling the other to climb up until the next person, and then start again.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
That Pug has no idea what's going on.
Well, I can't do much until they get here anyway, so I'm just gonna wait until I find out what's going on.
Okay, so I will climb up. I will try to climb up to Arissa's level
Okay.
and tell her to climb up to Belgarath and Pesach.
Okay. Then, Kess, can you please roll me a athletics, please.
Oh god. Could not be acrobatics. Okay, I will try. It's not a natural one. I just have to deduct from it.
Okay. Cass, you start to
I'm
climb.
near the ground.
Cass, you start to climb up, seeing Arissa's only about 10 feet ahead of you. You start to grab, but not being used to your childish limbs, you start to haul yourself up, but you slip and your legs aren't where you want them to be, and you tumble back down again. And you catch yourself, you're standing on your feet, looking up at Arissa, going, "Ah, shit."
Okay.
It's a good thing anyone can see what's going down here. It's a good thing that no one's seeing anything potentially embarrassing.
Yes, very good thing. That was just a slip of the thing. Should I try again, or a slip of the clothes? Should I try again, or what's happening right now?
I think maybe trying again would be a good one.
Cass, you're back at the bottom. You're attached to a rope that's near Arissa. She's about 10 feet ahead of you. You, by all means, you can try again. You can try a different way. You can try.
Trying to think of any other way, but I don't have my spells set up. Okay, so I think I will try again. This will take forever.
Alright. Cass, you managed to get about 4 or 5 feet up the wall, and you slip a little bit, but you manage to grip on, and you sort of hang on, and like your foot moves, and you've now got one hand gripping a rock, and then you hang on to the rope, and you're now suspended just underneath Arissa, hanging onto the rope with 2 legs and 1 hand, and 1 hand is still on the cliff face. Arissa, you feel the rope tug, and you feel this child form of Cass hanging underneath you.
Okay, I tell Arissa to climb up as much as she can so the rope is not too tight, and then tell Bagara to do the same, and then we slowly progress.
Oh, we're not climbing the rope, we're climbing like the cliff face. I see what's happening now.
Yeah, we're all tied together by the rope, but yeah.
Okay. I assume we were all like hanging on the rope.
That's my thought at first, but no, apparently not.
Okay.
It's a shame I'm not at the bottom of the cliff because I've got a spell that might actually be a good help here.
Belgarath, you are just above Arissa, so when she climbs up to speak to you, you guys can have a conversation.
Okay.
So, Arissa and Cass, can you both please roll me athletics to climb up to where Belgarath is?
It's slowly getting better. I'm slowly getting there.
Because you gotta do some push-ups or something, geez.
Jesus, Dragonborn, how much do you bench?
Hey, look, my child's body was not used to this strenuous exercise. I was studying magics, of course.
Yeah, she didn't start exercising until after puberty.
To be honest, Cass never started exercising, so I think that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, occupational hazard with being a magic user, you don't really feel the need to go for physical exercise.
But she's actually quite scrawny. Like, I guess people don't know. Dragonborn might not notice.
Okay, you two, Arissa, you managed to instinctively move your weight around, and you managed to get up to be level with Belgarath's elbow. Cass, still sort of half hanging onto this rope and sort of having to rely on Arissa quite a bit, you managed to grab yourself up with like 1 hand and 1 foot and pull yourself up, and you're now at Belgarath's feet.
I'm growling. Could you wash your feet sometimes?
How's it going?
Oh yeah, just hanging out.
Yeah, you could stop climbing now.
Right, I have an idea that might expedite this process. Well, ironically, the spell I have in mind is called Gust of Wind.
Okay, be careful with that. So
Okay,
it doesn't blow us off of here. There's a
well,
lot
here's
of
my
wind
idea.
already.
Because what it essentially does is it can blow things 15 feet in a direction. So, here's my plan. You and Marissa climb to just above me, I cast the spell, and then it pushes everyone up the cliff face, pulling me along with it. And, that might help things go a bit faster.
Wait, but if they don't know it's coming, they might panic.
Oh, that'll be fine.
Well, we can shout up to them, and then we just make sure everyone knows before I do it.
Oh, yeah, we'll just do it.
Okay.
That sounds more fun.
I would try to stealth them for more.
Yeah, okay, we'll try it that way. So who's above me, Rosie?
Just above Belgarath, it should be Enna, then Errol, then Pug.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Emma's already panicking.
Yeah, I'm already kind of swaying back and forth and panicking after being shot on by pixie dust. So I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna look right now.
Enna is now sort of like hovering in the air, clinging to the rope, not able to touch the cliff at all, and like sort of half floating and rolling around in the wind, unable to hear or see anybody.
So if we shouted up, she wouldn't be able to hear us.
She'd have to roll a very, very good perception to hear you.
Oh.
Sound like you.
Let's see.
Go on, Enna, believe in the heart of the dice.
Oh, 19!
Hey!
Woo!
Okay, Arissa, what are you going to shout to Enna?
And then we're gonna blow you.
I think maybe it would be better if I shouted to Enna, just putting that out there.
Okay, so I kind of want to shout up that we're gonna blow each other.
Prepare to get blown.
Yeah.
No!
We're gonna kill each other apparently. We're all
We
getting
can't
blown.
believe it, and it's gonna be great fun.
Okay, Rosie?
Yes.
Right, I am going to shout up to Enna and explain what I'm going to do.
Okay. Enna, over the strong gusting wind, your panic, the fact that you feel like you could fall and die at any second and you've no idea what the hell that pixie just did to you, you hear Belgarath's voice come through the wind and you hear, Enna! Going! Blow! Now! Soon! Okay?
I'm just gonna kind of scream and cry because I still don't know what's going on.
Alright, Belgarath, you hear a scream and a sort of, ah!
That's all there is Liger needed to do anything. So, yeah, I'm going to ask Arissa and Kev to climb slightly above me, and then I'm going to cast Gust of Wind.
Okay.
Oh my god, my bum!
Belgarath, is there a limit on how far it goes, or is it just a gust of wind you can control?
Okay, so the range of the gust is 60 feet long and 10 feet wide.
Okay.
And anything in front has to pass a strength save or else be pushed 15 feet away. But as we're all trying to do it, should we still do that, or are people going to resist?
I'll try not to resist.
Belgarath, I don't trust this spell to. Like, it could really mess us up, especially given that I'm at the bottom of the rope. If this pushes me and I can't catch the wall, the rock, then I might hit against it, or I might fall to the ground.
Alright, fine, we'll just be boring then and we'll just climb up to Enna then.
Yes.
Yay!
I'd rather be safe than crushed.
Of all the things I could have said about you, Dragonborn, I never thought you'd be boring.
It's not boring, it's alive that I would like to be. But if you want to push Arisa, go ahead.
You mean Arisa and you're attached to you?
I can do instead.
God.
That was the wind.
Try living with that.
Thank you.
Sound effects is amazing. Alright, so can the three of you please roll me an athletics check to get up to Enna? Also, Cass, very important question. Are you still hanging onto the rope from Arissa? Are you getting help from the other two? Or are you just gonna, like, go it alone?
Go alone.
Alright, you're rolling with disadvantage.
What check am I rolling, sorry?
Athletics.
Oh, right.
Athletics, and Cass, you're doing yours with disadvantage.
Okay.
Why is it always athletics or acrobatics with you?
Because that's always what
Well, it can be acrobatics as well.
Okay, so Belgarath and Arissa managed to scurry up to Enna. Cass, you find yourself struggling up this sheer cliff face. You're not tall enough to be able to reach the handholds that those two can, and you find yourself swinging around on the bottom of this rope quite a lot, hauling yourself up, almost like desperately scrabbling and hanging onto the rope that this is hanging from Arissa and Belgarath.
You know, it's a good thing that you're not a great big business person. This would be really difficult.
She's a child person right now.
Still, I'm pretty sure a very light dragon person is still heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
Look
you
here.
now...
I'm trying my best. If you're not appreciating it, then you can just shut up.
We're not going to use the gust of wind, she said. It'll be dangerous, she said.
I use the gust of wind on me. No, it's crap.
Says you.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you guys are now level with the floating and crying Enna. What would you like to do?
I don't know what's going on.
Don't give her a hug, you're climbing a rock. You give her a hug, you're both climbing down.
We can push her upwards.
That pixie did something to me. I don't know what he did, but I don't like it.
You can take revenge later. Just get to him first.
You go.
I'll get to him and I'll punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so you just need to climb up to do that.
Okay. So are we all? We're all gonna climb up now. Are we all coming up together?
I'm ready to start climbing up.
Well, we're not up to you yet, Plug.
yeah. If you want, you can shout up to Pug because you're now at Enna's level.
No, we don't
but
want
you've
to.
got Ariel between you and Pug.
Yeah. Okay, let's climb up to Errol's place now.
Okay. Enna.
Oh, can I try to hold on to Enna because, like, she should be floaty and...
Yeah, I still have floating and weird.
You
Yeah,
can
so I will hold her down a little bit.
Okay.
Don't hold me down. Push me up.
But, like, you're
Don't hold me down anywhere.
Okay. Everyone,
I'm just putting some weight on you.
everyone roll athletics to climb up. Please.
Is it
No.
Uh-oh. I got a 5.
It's okay, I got a 17. I'm probably to say yes now.
Yes, yeah.
Arissa has squid brain.
Just generally.
Okay, awesome. Enna, you don't manage to grab a lot of the cliff, but it's okay because you're floating, and between you and Kess, you manage to sort of raise higher up, and she holds on to your floating body, and as you raise higher, she grabs the cliff and you float, and between the two of you, it works. Arissa in squirrel mode, as if she had a tail, is like clambering on up the rock and gets to Ariel first, followed by Cass and Enna, and Belgarath coming just sort of round the side of them. The rope is hanging in between you, but you can still be on the same level as each other. There's enough slack that you can be on the same level.
Hi.
I hate you.
Why? I expect to help.
You made it so much worse.
I'm sorry.
And then you can express your anger. Just release your anger. Use it.
No, I'm just sad.
Shape.
I just want to hug a squirrel again and be happy.
Alright, there, Dark Lord of the...
Okay, let's try and get the hell off this cliff because I'm not enjoying myself anymore. So
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you could not have guessed.
I am having so much fun.
let's get up to Pug and we'll all just.
It's about like being here.
How is the rope affecting my ability to fly? Like, can I just fly it carefully?
You
at the
can
same pace as the
fly,
others are climbing?
but you can't fly very far because you've got a bit of slack from the rope, but you can't fly.
Oh,
You can
course.
fly maybe a foot in any direction.
Okay, I'll just like fly up, then try to climb a bit and just like go up that way, like helping myself up by flying.
Alright, cool. Are you gonna fairy dust anyone else?
Well, considering that didn't go exactly as planned, I might not.
Okay.
Please don't.
I can, like, if I get to the top, I can like kind of pull some people up. Like it might make some of these strength checks easier.
Yeah, potentially. So, okay. Everyone, again, to get up to Pug, you're rolling athletics again. Cass, are you still holding up floating Enna?
Yeah, I'm holding on to her ankle because it's useful.
Okay.
She's
In which
it's
case,
fine.
now, Cass and Enna can do it with advantage. Belgarath and Arissa do it like normal, and Ariel, you can do it like normal as well. Yeah. Athletics check for Ariel and everybody, but Enna and Cass can do it with advantage.
Oh, that's nice. 19 total.
Well, to be fair, you have wings and you can fly, so you're okay. Alright.
Yay!
Belgarath, at one point you slip, but Arissa catches you, and it wasn't a full-on slip, it was sort of like one of your hands lost its footing and you panic for a second, but she grabs your wrist and puts you back on the cliff, and you all haul up together. Cass and Enna still doing your floaty, grabby thing. Ariel, you flutter and pull on the rope as hard as you can, and you are all now around Pug's midriff level. You've got about 15-20 feet of cliff to go before you get to the summit.
Hi, Pug.
Yeah, it's time for you to
Good
start
afternoon,
working as well.
folks.
This is your captain speaking.
I'll be pulling you up now. So I'm gonna start trying to climb up since everyone is, around my level. Right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's time for you to start working. You have been just lazing about here.
Well, I do best.
So athletics, Pug.
Athletics. Okay. That is a 19.
Okay, sweet. Pug shimmies on up the rope. Cass, you're annoyed because the sword nearly whacks you in the face as he's climbing. But you manage to get to the summit, Pug, and you
Can I
get
try to
yourself
trip
over.
him?
Huh?
Can I try to trip him or something? Like, I'm annoyed by the sword.
Maybe not the best time for that.
It's too late.
It's too late. He's shimmied away from you as you're thinking it.
Yes.
You're thinking it, but his arse disappears over the summit, and Pug, you're now at the top. The rope is attached to the exit door.
Okay. So can I pull on the rope to kind of pull these guys up?
Yeah, you can do.
Okay.
Are you
So that'd be
literally gonna,
athletics, yeah,
are you
right?
literally going to pull all of them up?
Do it.
Well, I mean, I'll pull, like, Arrow up first, and then whoever's next goes next.
Okay. Well, then do a For Ariel, just do a straight strength check to pull him up.
Ariel is really light.
Yeah, I was going to say, with some serious advantage, I hope.
I've lowered the DC, don't worry.
Yeah. Very easy.
Alright, so it's just strength.
Just strength, yeah.
Alright, so that's gonna be 19.
Okay, cool. Ariel, unsurprisingly, flutters over the top, and is now... You're both still attached to the rope, but you're now at the top of the summit, and Ariel, technically you could try and assist when he pulls the next person up as well.
Oh, pity.
Yeah, a little bit helps.
I'll try.
Okay. Who is next? Underneath Ariel should be Enna.
Whee!
Okay.
You're still slightly floaty.
So you
Pull me up,
can,
pull me up.
you can both do a straight strength check for this one as well, because this one is just a floating person.
Wait, did Puck tell us that he is going to pull up?
Yeah, I said yeah.
Okay. Because in that case I should let her go, because I'm at the bottom of the...
Yes, you would do, definitely.
If I didn't know, it could be a problem.
Alright, so it's just strength and not athletics.
Yeah, just strength for this one.
God, okay. Cause that's not so good. The rope kind of slipped out of my hands a little bit.
Okay.
Don't drop.
Yeah, that's it. But Anna is floating, so she's super light as well.
Okay. Okay. Puggywug, you pull on the rope. Ariel giving you a surprising amount of help, actually, for such a small creature. He can give you a quick douche. Enna, you pull a little bit as well, desperate to get to the very top. And you float over the edge and sort of hover, still attached to the rope, and hover beside the two of them, now at the top by the exit door.
Woo!
Okay.
Almost freedom.
Alright, the next one behind Enna should be Belgarath.
Yep.
So now all three of us can pull Belgarath up.
All three of you can pull, yes, and I'll say there's no disadvantage on this because there's three of you doing it. And Belgarath, if you want, you can also roll athletics to, like, climb and help them out.
Yeah, why
I'm not doing so well for you.
Alright, awesome. Belgarath, you shimmy on up with some serious help from being tugged by Pug and everybody. Tugged by Pug. And you manage and
Got a boy to get up first.
actually, as Belgarath climbs over, you are scrabbling at the edge, and Pug reaches out to help you over and accidentally grabs your ass and helps you be pulled up over the edge.
You're doing this on purpose.
Accidentally, yeah, sure.
Definitely.
Just to fuel the fanfiction
Yeah.
that Arissa is furiously scribbling. Okay, and next is Arissa, and Cass is underneath you. So, do you guys want to climb or just get...
Well, while they are pulling Arissa, I will try to climb because I don't need their help.
Now you're gonna get pulled.
I will climb as well to make it
Alright,
easier on them.
Arissa roll athletics, Cass roll athletics with disadvantage. Okay, Arissa, you managed to start climbing, and the guys at the top managed to pull enough that you managed to get to the top and get a hand to get up. Cass, you are still struggling, you haven't got up yet. Your hands and feet are just not big enough, they're not tight, you can't get enough grip. You're slipping back on the rope a little bit. Arissa, when you get to the summit, you feel Cass fall, and you feel her tug on you, but Belgarath and Pug reach out their hands almost as one together, and they pull you over the edge.
I ship it.
Our hearts are synchronized.
Wait, how well was that rope attached to Arissa? The one that I
The rope is still attached to Arissa, but she has now let go of it. And you can feel an extra foot or so has like given. So as you fell, it sort of you fell, caught yourself, and then the rope went and it dropped another few, like another foot's worth of rope.
Okay, so how far am I from the
You are about 12, 13 feet down from the summit.
I'll try to climb up again.
Alrighty. Are you guys gonna pull her?
Is it still a disadvantage?
It's disadvantage unless you let them pull you.
No.
They can't stop us from pulling you.
Yeah,
You can just stop.
Okay, with your
All
aim.
of your guests from the
Alright, accept your fate then. Bye!
Well, if we're all attached, if she plummets, won't we all be dragged down with her?
Just
Does she like it?
Okay.
I am using my dagger to cut myself off from the rope.
Okay. So Belgrath is not helping. Ariel tried and failed. Arissa can help.
Yeah.
Pug rolled a nat 20 and is like gripping onto the rope. Anna is helping. Cass,
But I'm resisting the pulling.
Cass, you
Resisting
slip further down the cliff and you feel a tug and it pulls you up about 3 feet, and then you get annoyed by this and pull back against it and find yourself swinging out, and you smack into the cliff face when you swing back in again, and
You idiots!
Cass, you take 2 hit points of damage from smacking into the cliff face.
Sorry, how many?
2.
Have you learned your lesson, Skiles?
Not the idiots! You can't even pull the rope properly.
Yes, overfitting backwards!
Arissa fixes the rope. Belgrath is still attached.
Nice!
Alright, Belgrath, you're still
Switchlings,
attached.
yeah, good for nothing.
Sorry, what was that?
Belgrath, you're still attached. The rope, you cut the rope and then it sealed itself back up again.
I fucking hate bards.
Actually,
Yeah,
this happened before Arissa opened her mouth.
Oh, right, so the rope just healed itself by itself.
Uh-huh.
Ah,
Like that.
Don't tell me to it.
It's almost as if we're in a tower at Desktop.
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay, so I'm still on the cliff face.
Yep. You just smacked back into it.
Okay, Cass, we're gonna start pulling you over now, and if you resist us again, you're gonna die. So stop. Yeah?
Okay, can you let me try to climb up on my own?
You're too slow. You're slowing us down. This is about time here. Come on. Hurry up.
Fine.
Yay! Let's pull her up.
Yeah, don't give her much of a choice. Just pull her up.
Alright, everyone at the top, please roll me strength checks to pull her up. And Cass, can you roll me athletics with advantage to climb up?
I'm not climbing, I'm just...
Oh, you literally just sit
brooding.
back and let it. That's okay, just sit back and let it happen.
Yes, I'm currently very annoyed and brooding and just have my arms crossed and...
No, just
I'm just giving the rope like a half-hearted tug with one hand. Just going, meh.
Okay.
upset over the rope healing himself.
Yep.
Alright.
Right,
Arissa is holding the wrong end of the rope.
Arissa is trying to work out how she healed the rope without saying the spell. And eventually...
Say the words and the text and what? Everett, what did you do?
And
Apparently
eventually...
I cut the rope with a time bending knife.
I didn't know you had those.
Neither did I. No!
Give me the knife!
Go away!
And eventually, over the summit comes a disgruntled, child-formed Cass with a scowl on her face and, like, some scratches on her cheek where she smushed into the cliff that last time.
And I'm very annoyed, very angry.
At least you're on top now. We're all fine. We're all getting out of here. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Through
go
the
out
door.
here.
And you guys walk towards the exit door, and the rope sort of disappears from all of you now that you're all at the top.
Okay, did my clothes shrink as well?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not tripping over my ropes.
No, you're alright. And the door now opens for you, and you can all file back out into the corridor.
Well, fan daddy does it.
You know, there was no treasure here. I wish this tower was a bit more honest about it.
It was a tower of tests, not a tower of treasure.
No, but there
That's
was
a good
treasures
point.
promised.
And you hear the cool voice come through again. It says, Level 4 passed. Gained 5 seconds.
Oh. Don't do so good, guys.
Anyone else getting a deep antipathy for that voice?
I think she sounds very pleasant.
Thank you.
Well, you would.
Seconds.
You're welcome. You have a tower.
It could have been worse.
Progress to elevator for level 5.
I'm gonna take that.
How many levels are there
I don't
in
know.
tower?
You have no idea.
Probably just one for each of us, I'd imagine.
Probably one of the assholes.
Maybe.
Well, let's just keep on going.
Woo! Maybe we have to do this for the rest of our lives. And we never get out of here and we die in here. Yay!
Woo! See, I told you it was easy.
Well, let's not be
Plan
terrible
campaign.
about it.
Teleport out of here.
Okay, so you jump in the elevator and you go trundling on up and you get to level 5. Level 5! You see a dark corridor, you see a black door. The voice says, Level 5, Ariel.
I'll fly forward.
Alrighty, you fly on through the door. And outside, everybody is standing in the corridor awaiting instructions. Ariel, you fly into a sort of dark, empty room, and the voice says to you, Not all are the same as enemies. And that's
Well,
all that's
duh.
said to you. And then you notice that the room is starting to fill up with a sort of greeny yellow haze. Alright. Those of you outside the room, you guys see a sort of flash of dark light, and then you guys appear inside the room. And you guys see inside a sort of room that reminds you of the test Belgarath had, except that instead of there being craters down into the floor and little walls to walk along, you guys are scattered about with high walls in between you. And you can hear each other moving about and looking, but you can't see. You can just sort of hear footsteps and each other's voices and things. And Arissa,
Yes.
in front of you is a very large glass jar. On the lid, there is a note on a big scroll, which you can read if you like.
Yes.
Okay. Unfurling the scroll, it says, You must persuade your pixie friend to take a ride in this jar. Otherwise, he will breathe in too much of the toxic atmosphere and die. You all can last far longer than his small lungs can. Good luck. And
Oh, there we go. Errol's gonna die.
Bye, Errol. See you later.
Fair.
Bye. It was nice knowing you. Not really, but yeah.
I won't miss your pixie dust farts. at all.
Pug, you can see the exit door ahead of you. However, there's a very high wall between you and it, but you can see the exit written on the top of the door. And the door is open. But there's a big wall in front of you and it.
Okay. What is this wall made of?
Sort of dark stone.
Okay, just to examine all. I'm gonna make an attack roll on the wall.
By all means, Puggywork, by all means.
Oh god, okay. 15.
13.
15.
15, okay. Okay, are you just punching it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he do anything else?
Alright, Pug, you take 3 points of damage from punching a solid stone black wall.
I don't know why I expected anything else. Alright.
Everyone else in the room, including Ariel, you hear a very distant ah! Fuck!
I'll just laugh.
Ariel, what you can see at the moment is you can see someone. The room is very misty and yellow and smoky. You can see someone ahead of you, and then all you can see is like black wall. You can see that the room goes further than the wall. The wall is about 7 feet high, and you can see the ceiling. You can see it goes further ahead, and you fly up to take a look, but you start to cough and things. And can you please roll me a Constitution save?
I don't think I can opt out of that one, can I?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
9. Okay, Errol, you cannot fly as high as the recording studio disconnected from the internet for some unknown reason, but I'm back. Huzzah! Hello. Errol.
Are we back on YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube thing.
Okay.
I think it's back. Let me just check. It says it's still live.
Okay.
I'm just going to recheck now. It should go back up
Okay.
again. Yep. Okay, cool.
Yay.
So, Ariel, as soon as you try to fly higher than maybe 5 feet in the air, so as soon as you try to look over the walls, you get a pain in your chest and your wings start to hurt and all of your muscles hurt as if you've just run a marathon, or in your case, flown a marathon. And you're coughing and wheezing and you can't quite catch your breath properly, and so you have to fly slightly lower to the ground. Arissa, what would you like to do?
Right, I'm gonna call out to Errol and try and persuade him by saying, look, I know this is gonna sound absolutely awful, especially going from the end, considering what it's going to do, but if you don't do what I ask, you'll die. What was that?
Nice persuasion.
Are you threatening me?
No, if you don't, I have a jar basically, and if you don't get in it, you'll die. And I don't want to kill you. I don't want you to die. That would be sad.
Then
You're
again,
the only person who hasn't done anything bad to me.
What did I do?
Oh, shush you.
Comes a muffled Belgarath from the other side of the wall.
that
Wait, Errol, didn't you say that you never wanted to get stuck in a jar again? Didn't you tell me?
He won't be stuck.
He also doesn't want to die, so...
Can I roll persuasion now?
How do you know he will die?
I died before because of, like, jar.
So, Errol, are you afraid of getting into the jar?
Cass,
That's a hard
No?
Cass, you can hear this conversation, but you're several walls away at this point.
Okay.
plus 12.
Wait, what?
I get expertise as well.
Fucking hell. Plus 12 is fucking amazing.
You see my performance.
So my highest bonus is +6. That's your intimidation.
Very nice. Well, if it was Belgrath intimidating you into the jar, it might have worked. Okay. Ariel, you don't trust her instinctively because she's a human, but you know her enough to know that she thinks that she's telling the truth, but then again, she can be a bit dippy and insane, and sometimes her version of things aren't always what you would like them to be. However, she does seem to be saying this is the only option. However, it's up to you what you feel about that, because you're very close at the moment.
Can I just tap on the glass with my scimitar for a bit?
You can do, yeah.
Like, not actually trying to smash it, like seeing if it's it's easy to break or not.
Yeah, can do.
Okay. Do I do anything for that? Like roll anything or something?
Well, you're not really attacking, so I'll just say you tap it. It's fairly solid. It's thicker than your head. And it's only about, for your height, as in you personally, it's only about 1.5 times bigger than you are. So you'd be a little bit claustrophobic and squished. It is see-through. It's made of glass, but...
I'll say in Sylvan to her.
I don't speak Sylvan.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, wait, hang on. I have compound languages though. Oh. But yeah, yeah.
So I was gonna say, if I end up stuck in this jar, I will kill you.
I don't understand, but I probably get the vague idea. Judging by the woman's face and what I'm asking him to do.
Can I assume at this point that Ariel has hunted Mark to Arissa?
Yeah, let's.
I mean, I was joking,
let's
but
actually
alright. I was joking, but alright. Okay. Okay, so Ariel, are you going to get in the jar?
Very, very hesitantly, yes.
Alright. You get in the jar, and you sort of like, are you going to sit down, stand up, keep flying? There's enough room to flap your wings, but not a lot. Okay. Arissa, he, looking at you like dagger eyes, gets into the jar, and like, sort of coughing and spluttering a little bit, because the air is still very toxic to little people. He's now in the jar. Do you want to put the lid on?
Very hesitantly.
Alright. The lid has got like a couple of tiny holes in it. Just so he's not going to completely suffocate, just FYI. Okay.
If it has tiny holes in it and the air is toxic.
I was just thinking
It's got like tiny holes in it with like this purple, I want to say mist around it, but it's not quite a mist. It's like a magic seal, so it's air, but it's filtered air. But still,
awesome.
It's not completely proofed, so it will get to him eventually.
I'll put one of my scimitars away, and wait, it's gotta be. Wait a second. My right hand scimitar, I'll put that one away, and I'll just like hold my hand up to my neck the entire time, like on the kiss of Itar.
Okay. Alright. Arissa, you now have a little pixie in a jar. You have a massive wall in front of you, which is about 7 feet high. You can hear, over the other side of it is Belgarath, pacing about and swearing and saying all the things he's just been saying. All you can see is that there's a sort of luminous, the word exit. You can see it far off, over the top of a lot of other walls. And it's far, far, far away. and there's a lot of walls in between you and it. And you get the impression that perhaps you're going to have to somehow pass this jarred pixie between each other.
Okay.
Through the jar. Through this big. Sure, Errol.
Okay. Yeah. I was hoping I would have a spell that would allow me to not do that to them. So.
Wait, I might have an idea. Can I cast levitate on the jar?
You can try, yeah.
Can I try
I will.
with the jar in my hand?
Can you try to climb the wall? You can, yeah. You'd have to make athletics with disadvantage because you're going to have to carry it with like one hand.
Alright, I'm gonna try that.
To be fair, if I notice that, I won't cast levitate and like fly out of her hand, obviously.
Okay, good.
I rolled a nat 20 on my other roll.
Ooh, awesome. Okay.
So I rolled a 7 and then I rolled a nat 20. So I don't know what that means.
Well, you're going to have to take the 7, sadly, but...
Which means athletics. Can I not use my acrobatics?
Depends on how you're climbing the wall, I guess. I suppose you can, yeah?
In which case it's 14.
Okay. Still not a net 20. Okay. You can heave yourself up so that the jar is resting with one of your arms and your head on the top of the wall, but it's a bit too much to get all the way over. You can look down and see Belgrath now, and Belgrath, you see... scramble, scramble. You see the face of Arissa with a jarred pixie on the top of the wall.
Well, that's new. What's happening now?
I need you to take this jar. Be
Okay.
careful with it.
Okay, why?
Got a pixie in it.
I mean, why do you need me to take it?
Because I assume that we need to get him to the exit before he dies.
Right. And why can't you do that? Well, give me the jar.
Okay, I kind of like drop the jar down to her.
Okay. Belgrath, roll a dexterity to catch it.
Oh, this doesn't bode well.
And after I drop I'm over to the other side of the wall and join Belgrath.
Okay. That's alright. Errol, can you please roll me a dexterity?
Yeah.
What dexterous thing is he doing inside the jar?
Well,
So
it's
now I'm about to bang my head against the glass, probably. That might not go well.
okay. As Belgrath manages to catch the jar, Errol, you are hovering still in the jar, desperately trying to fly within it, and you, like a ping pong ball, go do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You're gonna take 2 points of bashing damage. I've just invented that. It's called bashing. Because you donk your head off the lid and then you donk your feet off the floor and you end up sort of sitting on the bottom of the jar held by Belgrath.
Well, I'd be lying if I said that you were the first sun fairy that I had started saying.
That is the story I need to hear.
How much you don't know.
I love stories. Can you tell me a story?
No time, gotta go.
Can we first, like, quickly save me from this fucking jar?
Yes.
That's
I'm
insane.
getting deja vu now.
Okay, so
And
Belgrath.
trust me, last time didn't end well for me.
Belgrath, in front of you, there's a 7-foot tall sort of black stone wall. The ceiling is higher up, so you can tell it's over it, and behind it you can hear Enna. You've heard Enna sort of talking and listening and joining in.
Okay. Given that I am the only one going to be effective, I'm now going to do what I suggest with testing the others. and I'm basically going to cast Gust of Wind downwards to try and push myself up the wall face.
Okay. Roll a d20 and add. Is it your charisma or your intelligence that you use for spellcasting?
I use my charisma.
Okay, then add your charisma modifier to your d20.
So a d20 plus my charisma, yeah?
Yep. Meanwhile, Arissa, roll me an athletics or acrobatics to climb down, please. Okay, cool. Arissa manages to boing down, and just as you land, you get a massive gust which knocks you back off your feet, and you get lifted about 3-5 feet into the air, Arissa, and Belgarath, you, like a rocket launcher, are blasted into the air towards the wall with a jar in your hands, and you sort of find yourself thrown, sort of, and you land sort of the top of the wall hits you in the midriff, and you sort of land over one side, leaning over, still holding onto the jar, leaning over, staring down at Enna. Ariel, you roll a nat 1, so you're going to take another point of damage. Because you're still recovering from the last one. Enna, you hear a massive gust of wind, whoosh, and you hear the conversation between Arissa and Belgarath, and then you suddenly see gadoosh. You see a Belgarath clutching a pixie in a jar appear on the top of the 7-foot wall behind you.
Oh my lord!
What ridiculous creatures you are.
You're just jealous.
I presume I need to take this thing from you and pass it along?
Yep, fairies in jar, take it to exit.
Okay.
Not a fairy.
Pixie, whatever, don't care.
Fake creature.
So, wait, do
You
you
know
like...
with wings. Right, so I'm gonna drop the jar down to Anna.
Alright. Enna,
I will try and catch. Let's
Alright.
see.
Roll a dexterity to catch it, and Belgarath, as you're just literally dropping it, I'm going to let you just drop it, and Enna can roll to catch it.
Cool.
And
Arissa, yeah.
Arissa, you sort of Mary Poppins'd it up in the air about 5 feet, your skirt blew out, and then you sort of slowly landed again.
I'm not wearing a skirt, but okay.
Anything floofy you have around you will have gone poof. Okay, Enna with 13. Okay, you just managed to catch the jar.
I'm naked now.
Yeah, she's naked now. It's all good. Enna, you just
We got
managed to
way
catch the
more
jar.
there.
It slips through your fingertips, but you just catch onto it, and you now have a very disgruntled looking pixie sitting on the bottom of this jar.
Okay. I'm gonna call out and see who's over the next side of the wall so I know who I'm trying to pass it on to.
Okay,
Who's on
the
other
next
side.
person behind you is Kess. Kess, you hear Enna calling out.
Okay, Cass,
What do you want, Anna?
I'm gonna throw you something, and you need to do your best to try and catch it.
Wait, I hear
I
this.
won't make promises.
Well,
Yeah,
That's
Errol, you can hear everything.
Okay.
Anna, why don't you just pass it along the wall? Like, it's just 7 feet tall, isn't it? You can just...
I'll just
pass it over it.
I'm gonna jump and throw it over the wall. You need to catch it from the other side.
Are we really that far away?
Wait, is the wall only 7 foot tall? I could have cleared that wall with gust of wind.
Yeah, I thought... How tall is the wall?
It's like 7 feet tall, so it's about 2.5 feet
Yeah,
taller
it's
than
just
you
7
guys.
feet.
Yeah, I should have been able to clear the wall then. I shouldn't have been smashed into it.
Tower magic.
Anna, I'm sure you can just pass it over the wall, or are you really that small?
Well, I'm 5 foot. I'm about 5'6". So
Just jump up a little bit.
I'm gonna jump, but I'm gonna have to throw it. Like I can't reach the top of the wall. Yeah, so you gotta get ready to catch.
I'll try.
Well, this little dude's gonna die if you don't, so I guess do your best.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe you could both roll dexterity, Enna to throw and Kess to catch. Belgrath, stop being grumpy.
Dex again.
Never!
Okay. No, I tried my best.
Oh no!
Oh, that doesn't work.
Dexterity. Sorry, it's dexterity.
Yes.
So that's slightly better.
Do I roll Dex?
You will, in a minute, roll a couple of things. Okay. Enna jumps up and throws perfectly towards Kess, and Kess lifts her arms up, and the jar goes through them, smacks you in the face. You take 1 point of damage, Kess.
Oh!
And then the jar.
What was that? What was that? It sounded embarrassing.
It's one that you people come for a thing.
Actually, Belgrath,
Hey,
you'd have
my
seen
game
that.
was perfect there.
Belgrath, you'd have seen that because you're only a wall or two behind, so you'd have seen that because you're on top of the wall.
What's going on? Why nothing?
Well, that is hilarious.
What else is new?
I'm rubbing my snout and not even trying to do anything about the jar. I'm pissed off.
Okay, Ariel, can you please roll me a Constitution save and a Dexterity check?
Okay, that's gonna be a problem.
I was going to help, but I'm a little bit pissed off now.
Yeah, so
In
about
Enna's
that
defense, it was a very good throw. Okay,
That-
what's your...
Constitution is a 10,
Okay.
and the Dex is a 5.
Okay. You feel yourself dropped from one wall, caught by Enna, jumped and thrown over the second wall. You watch the jar smack into Cass's face. There's a tiny little bit of dragon blood on the bottom of the jar now, from her nose, and you land on the floor, coughing continuously. Your lungs are starting to fill, and you feel yourself getting a little bit drowsy and a little bit woozy, and you feel a bit sick, and you still can't quite breathe properly. And in this state, you've now taken an extra... Well, the jar sort of rolled, so you take, I'm going to call it a point of dizzy damage. But it's like 1 hit point, but it's dizzy damage.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
This poison, does my divine health do anything about it?
Doesn't seem to.
Damn it. It's worth a shot. Fair. In that case, I'm starting to hurt, right?
You probably are.
And she didn't seem to try to catch me.
She had her arms
It
out.
got smashed into my face, and then I got a bit distracted.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough that Errol wouldn't get mad at her for that, because she's not a human, or partially human.
Okay. You guys, you also can hear Pug, the wall behind. So the wall just ahead of you now, Errol, behind Cass, who was facing Enna. You can hear Pug because he was talking before. He's one wall over behind you.
Oh, hi, Pug.
Hi.
So how far away the exit is?
Cass,
In feet.
it'll be about 20 feet away from you, Cass. It's about maybe 10 feet away from Pug.
How far is it away from me?
From you, somewhere around 40, 50? Because there's around 10 feet between the walls. I'm trying to do very quick maths now. And there's a wall between Pug and the door, so...
Can I see the door?
You can from on top of the wall, yes.
Okay, all I'm saying here, guys, is that if the door is nothing but wood, my magic missile has a range of 120 feet, so I could easily take out that door and, disperse some of this gas.
Do it.
The rest of the tower. You know,
Or
when
we
I
could
have to
just
be outside of
get
this
out.
door.
Like, yeah. Okay, so I'm just grumbling, pick up the jar, and use Misty Step to get right in front of the door and get out. I'm just pissed off and not dealing with this shit.
Okay. Cass, you cast Misty Step, and in similar fashion to when you were a squirrel, you reach the door, and something like an invisible barrier, which conveniently is also swooshing the gas back into the room, rebounds you, and you back onto the floor. You're now near the door, but you can't get through it.
God damn it!
It's almost as if D&D is a team game, guys!
Did that
Cass
mean
isn't
that
a
I
team
get another
player.
point of damage? Because, you know, I was bashed into a wall, bounced back.
So, Ariel, you no longer
I
have
was
Cass.
probably holding you, so...
You can go, did you take him with you, or did you leave him?
Yes, yeah, no, I was holding the jar and then teleported in front of the door to get through.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
sweetest thing you've ever done.
No, I was grumbling while I was doing it, being pissed off.
You can grumble
I just
all you
wanted to
want,
get
the
it over
action
with.
itself is still sweet. Okay, yeah,
No.
Ariel, you're bounced back from the door as well, but she hasn't let go of you this time. You still managed to hang on.
Well, you know what, Cass, I should be thanking you because if I tried to use magic missile on that door, I would have lost one of my spell slots. So you did me a real favour by proving that there's a magical barrier in front of that door, which probably would have knocked my missile aside. So thank you for that.
You are welcome, Squashmite. Okay, so what do we do about this door?
So we can't climb over the walls. Let's kind of like climb up, right?
Yeah, I think you are still over the other wall.
Yeah, Pug, you're over the wall just behind them.
Alright, so can I... Dude, there's no handholds on it, right? It kind of just
No, you have to actually climb.
You can roll to
Dude,
climb
just
it.
climb.
You can roll athletics or acrobatics to climb it.
How tall are you, Todd?
Tall 6 foot.
Couldn't you then just reach to the upside, to the...
Yeah, technically, Pug, you could reach, and it would help you pull yourself over the wall. You'd still have to roll to climb it and stuff, but you could. The DC would be lower. I am looking at your character sheet to how tall you all are, by the way, which I did when I designed this room. Just saying.
So is it what, strength to climb up?
Yeah. So yeah, just do strength to pull yourself over at this point because you're the taller one.
So that is 20.
Very nice. Okay, Pug, you haul yourself up and you're sort of sitting with one leg over the top of the wall, sort of breaching over it now, and you can jump down the other side, and then you're near Kess and the jarred Ariel.
Okay, so there's another wall between them and the door, right?
No,
they're on the other side of this wall now.
Okay, so there's just them and the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we should try to get everyone else to the door. Can I, like, jump to the next wall over and pull someone up?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
Wait, so I see him run past me, instead of, like, helping me get out of this jar as soon as possible.
Yes.
Well, you can't get out of the jar yet, because you're still in the room.
Yeah, you're gonna
out of the
room.
Damn.
Stay in the door, goddammit.
Yeah, just be patient, Pixie, you'll be fine.
Okay, I'm trying to look at the lock and trying to break the lock.
Oh no, the door's open. The door is open.
Oh, but we can't get out.
No. There was like a...
Can I put the jar outside?
Outside the room, you can try.
Yeah, so I try to put the jar outside of the room.
Okay. Are you just gonna, like, place it? Like, hold it out kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just try to put it outside. If it's open, just put the jar outside.
Okay, as soon as your hands get to the, like, magical barrier that stops... the door's open, but there's, like, a shimmery barrier, which is what you bounce back off of. As soon as your hand reaches that, you find resistance and you can't push any further. You can't put your hand through the barrier with the jar.
But does the jar... But does if I just have the jar out in the front, if I try to slide it into the barrier, does the jar go through?
Yes.
Okay, I slide the jar through.
Okay. The
I
jar.
cast levitate on the jar.
Okay, the jar slides through, and you are now, Ariel, hovering inside a hovering jar on the outside of the door.
I stop the spell to levitate it so that it drops as fast as possible.
Okay. Roll
They're trying
me,
to break it.
roll me
Yeah.
a dexterity check for that shit,
You
my
enjoy
friend.
yourself doing that.
Yeah, you gonna hurt yourself.
Oh, it doesn't matter, he just wants to get out of it. I hope there's more poison gas on the other side.
Okay, Pug, you managed to pull up. I think Enna was the next one to you. So Pug, you managed to pull Enna up onto one of the walls. Ariel with a 15, the jar drops and smashes, and you manage to fly upwards very quickly, and you manage to avoid any of the pieces. And you're now looking back into a room filled with toxic gas and your friends.
Okay, I'll cast Lay on Hands on myself to heal. Out of the 15 points that I have, I used 4 of those
Okay.
to heal back up to full.
Alrighty. Okay, so you're now healed back
I
up.
could use some healing as well.
Alright.
Well, as soon as I can touch you, I can help.
Can you do it without touching?
Not with Lay on Hands.
Lay on hands, guys.
How should I know that?
I haven't touched it before when we were squirrels.
To be fair, I have another thing, but I'm not sure if I have the spell slots to be able to use that.
Whatever.
Spell slots. It's because I wasted one on Hunter's Mark on... Oh no, I didn't... Yeah, I can... can I cast Cure Wounds on Cass?
From the door? Yeah?
Wait until we're in the same room just in case it bounces back.
Fair. Because I already healed to full. That doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I'll just wait then.
Okay. So, Errol, are you gonna talk to them while they're all clambering over walls and things?
Guys, I escaped the jar!
That's great, what's on the outside?
Good for you, but we're still trapped in here.
We
So,
might die. The room's getting slowly more poisonous.
well, it's still pointless for us.
In that case, hurry here.
Okay, so Errol, can you have a look around that room in case there is a button or lever or whatever to
Yeah.
through?
That's a good idea. Do I roll perception or investigation to look around?
Roll perception.
Awesome. That's +1. 16.
Okay, yep. You see a very, very small, pixie-sized lever. Really high up on one of the walls.
I pull it.
Okay. You guys in the room see that the poison toxin has started to swirl about and is getting drifted off up to the ceiling. And the room is normal again now.
Can I go through the door?
You can try.
I'll try.
You're still getting resistance.
Ah!
Maybe
Okay,
we all
I'm-
walk through it at the same time or something.
Yeah, like a sea game or something.
Yeah.
Now that the stuff is gone, I fly back into the room as well, if possible.
Yeah, you can do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to all try and walk through at the same time.
That's gonna be difficult with 6 of us through one door.
Maybe if we all hold hands and make
Maybe if we don't hold hands, it will still work.
Let's hold hands.
What will work?
Not everyone wants to hold your sweaty hands.
My hands aren't sweaty.
To you, and they're uncomfortably warm as well.
Come on, Cass, just hold my hand.
No.
Hold my hand.
Show us you love us.
No, definitely not.
One team,
Thinking.
one dream.
I certainly don't dream with you.
Come on, Cass. Take it. Take my hand.
Okay, how about we wait until you guys are actually here? I mean, all you slowpokes have to get here.
Well, at this point, everyone had sort of climbed over the wall, so I'm going to say you are all now stood by Cass and Ariel, who's now back in the room.
Okay, let's just go through now.
Hold my hand.
Try to go through.
I'm
Leave me alone.
gonna touch your shoulder so we're still at least touching.
Okay, so I materialize my dagger and hold it through her neck.
Okay, I take my hand off her shoulder.
Okay.
So who's gonna walk? Who's gonna walk through the door?
Okay, Cass, you go first.
Okay,
Well,
I'll
we
try.
already know we can get through. We need to know we can get through.
Yeah, but like we were talking about going at the same time, didn't we?
If we're all here, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay, we'll try and see what happens.
Okay, I'm trying to walk through the door.
Alright, Cass, you bounce back. Can't walk through the door.
Yeah, we have to hold to the hands. Come on, hold hands.
So I didn't hear anything.
You
bounce back.
bounce back.
Okay, how about try first?
Shit, does Errol figure that out? I think that out of game me understands it, but I'm not sure if Errol understands it.
Say it.
Well, if I say it and it turns out that Errol doesn't know it, it's metagaming, and I don't want to metagame.
You can
Roll
the private check.
investigation.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Or you can roll an intelligence check. Yeah.
Roll an intelligence check and then message my account and tell me what you think.
Awesome. I accidentally pressed enter too early, so now there's a message that just says Rosie.
Okay.
Intelligence. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
So the rest of you, why don't you try your holding hands thing?
Yeah, no, but
Try to go through, but I don't need to hold your hand.
if we're gonna hold hands, we all have to hold hands.
No, you don't know that.
One long
You don't
chain
know
of
that.
hand holding. I do know that. I
But
do.
if we don't try, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Okay, then we will never know.
So you'd rather be trapped in here forever and ever than just
Don't hold your sweaty hands.
That's really sad.
Okay, what if we promise to wipe our hands off?
It's still too warm. It's uncomfortable.
You right there, Ariel. Oh,
Gloves or something you can put on, jeez.
I probably have gloves. I have 3 costumes. I'm sure I have
Oh, but he's got gloves for Tess to wear.
Would that make you feel better, Cass, if you were wearing gloves?
I don't think
You guys can hold each other's hands and try. I will stay here.
Okay, bye, Cass.
So we'll leave you trapped in the room, we'll all hold hands and get out of here.
We don't even know if you'll get out with your stupid hand holding.
I don't think... I think we all need to... whether we'll all get out together or we're all trapped here together. I think it's one or the other.
Well, how about we try all of us holding hands and Cass can stand here and watch? And then we'll see what happens then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold my hand! That's what
I
I
hold it and
I hold whoever's hand is proper to me.
Okay, and we all try and walk through together.
I just wish I could hold all of your hands all at the same time.
Oh, shut
When we get out of here, we can have a group hug.
Yeah!
Oh my god!
Oh my god, let's do that. With Cass in the middle.
Oh my god, can we not?
No!
Yes, wish I could have it.
I feel like I have a pretty good choice.
Is there a roll persuasion on you?
Roll resist.
In the meantime, I just rolled a nat 1 from my intelligence stuff.
Okay, I'm just
I want to have this relationship.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
There. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See how she bullies me?
So
Okay.
guys, what
Can
are
some of you
you doing?
just try to get through the door or something?
Okay, so
Yeah, me versus Belgrath are all holding hands.
I grab onto. Whoever's hand, who wants me.
Hey!
Belgar and Pug end up holding hands, just obviously.
That's how it goes, man.
I have. Let's see if I can find the right face for this.
Okay. Is anyone holding Cass's hand or trying or?
She refuses.
Yes, I refuse.
Just get comfortably close.
Those guys head towards the door and it seems to start letting them through, but then it stops and you're all still inside the room.
I told you, it's all of us.
Don't just hold someone's hand.
It's all of us or it's none of us.
Wait, so, I'm still at the other side of the door, right?
No, you're inside the room at this point.
Okay.
So,
Okay. How about I hold on to this dagger and you hold on to the other end of the dagger, and then there's a sort of connection.
We can try that.
You get to hold the pointy end, though.
Yes, exactly. Or are you saying you're too weak to hold the pointy end of a dagger?
I'm not too weak, I'm just not stupid.
Or how about instead of a dagger, we use Pug's sword and Kessin hold on?
No!
There we go! Look at him with good ideas about Giraffe.
No!
I do my best.
Dagger is not enough. Okay, look, this dagger is kind of a part of me, okay? So,
And that sword is part of Pug. So, by the same logic, that will be just as good.
But at the same time, we can all be part of each other, man.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
I'm gonna get her up.
Well, you can hold someone's hand, Kess, or you can hold the sword. That's your choice.
You know what? I'll grab her.
Shut up.
Into something and
You can hold your tail.
Oh, shit.
Wait, Cass doesn't have a tail.
Can I just remind everyone,
Dragon test tails.
this is a test of time, and we're arguing about what we're holding on to, so can this one grabs a part of someone else and just walk through the fucking door?
Let's keep it quick there, people.
Oh my god, I hold Cass's dagger, I don't care.
Fine.
And we walk through the door.
Okay, so is everyone attached to everyone else somehow now?
I believe so, yes.
Through a dagger, yes.
Okay.
I'll hold on to Alyssa.
Okay.
Errol wasn't holding on to anyone.
Okay. Errol holding on to Arissa, which is unheard ofly human and awesome. You guys managed to all step through and find yourselves in the damn corridor.
Yay! Anna figured it out. Yay!
I wipe off my dagger.
We all figured it out like 5 minutes ago. We just had one character who just refused to hold another person's hand.
Hey! I said let's all hold hands.
And Kess said no. That was the problem.
The problem wasn't that we didn't know we were
This is more fun this way.
There's only one person who was not on board with the hand-holding thing.
So
To be fair, Errol needed some convincing as well.
Okay. Gareth, things just can't always go easily. Someone has to make them. Otherwise,
What did the lever do?
boring.
The lever pulled out all the toxic gas.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop the guy, okay.
Yeah.
Level 5 completed. 10 seconds
Yay.
added.
We have a minute now, I think.
Yep, you
Oh,
got
good.
6 seconds now.
It's still the
We would
first
have like a minute and a half to
okay.
wait if it wasn't for Cass.
Level 5 rewarded.
Okay, look, I can't help that all of these questions are holding me back, and
Okay, I think we should all just calm down. Let's all just take a minute and breathe.
Yep, let's throw Cass out the window and...
No, that's not.
there are no windows.
Let's actually take some time in this tower that's basically built around hurry.
Please enter
Okay,
the
let's go to the
elevator
next
to
level.
level 6.
Let's go.
Righto.
Okay, we enter.
Alright, you go up to level 6, you see a black door and a long corridor, and the voice says, Level 6, Pug.
Oh boy, it's night. I walk up to where I'm supposed to go. I walk forward.
Alright, Pug goes through the door, and you guys all file off down the corridor, half expecting to be shrunk or grown or find yourselves on a windy mountainside, but no. Actually...
Why do I get the feeling that this is going to involve being punched?
That will be good. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'll let him practice up anyway.
Pug?
Yes.
I'm gonna turn it so you can't hear us.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
So, just in case you can hear us, can you do it on your end as well? Okay, Pug, can you hear us?
If I do hear you, I'll pretend not to hear.
Okay, can you hear us now, Pug?
He said he would pretend not to hear us. So. You can't bring this to me.
Okay. You guys all find yourselves, or to be fair, he could just watch the stream, but anyway, you guys find yourselves heading round the corner of the corridor. You keep heading up and round, and you... and... you find yourselves at a very large, thick glass window. You can see into the room where Pug is. You can see him on the far side, having just closed the door behind him. Inside the room, there are lots of very large, shambling figures, large, big, hulking shapes and people walking about. Some of them sort of shoulder barge him as they go past. The exit door is on the far side of the room, which you can see. And a voice says to you all, "This is a test of not using your fists. If every time Pug initiates a fight with one of the people in this room, you lose 5 seconds. You may attempt to alert him. Good luck."
So he doesn't hear this?
Pug doesn't hear this, and I'm going to put him back now, okay? Are you ready?
Sure.
Hey, Puggy Wuggy, you back?
Hello.
Pug.
Were you guys all saying anything about me?
Yes, that's what we're doing. It's just that this entire stream has been a way for us to make fun of you on the internet. So, Pug,
Thought so.
you step into the room, and you hear, like, a sort of, you feel the sword pulsing and warm at your back, and you hear a voice, but it's, like, muffled, like, in the distance, and it's sort of, and you sort of brush it off as a, huh? What? You didn't hear anything, and you're in a room. You can see the exit door on the far side of the room. Inside the room, there are loads of big, hulking guys. Big men, tough men, people from the fighting pits kind of people. And some of them are like shoulder barging past you. They're all wandering round the room. There's a big crowd of them in front of the door. Loads of them are just wandering about. And they like sort of shove you as they go past. They don't seem to pay you a lot of attention. But they're all like big and like gurry.
Okay. Big and gurry.
Okay, can we shout inside the glass now?
You can, but nothing comes out the other side. It's very thick glass.
Okay.
Can we mime to him? Can he see us? Like...
Pug,
Yeah, I look around. Can I see anybody?
you can see a glass section of wall right near the exit door, and you can see all your friends. Well, party members. On the other side. Like, frantically waving
Also,
at you.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
can we mime him a message? Or something?
Well, Arissa seems to be doing.
I rolled really high.
Okay. Arissa,
What?
you can do a little performance. Go for it. What would you like to do? And Pug cannot hear anything you're saying, so could you just mime the actions you're going to be doing, please?
Well, I would, but you can't see
Mime them
them.
into the
Like,
microphone, please. so that we can hear that.
describe the actions you're going to be doing.
No, Rosie can't see me.
Alright.
So if I'm mime to her, she can't see anything.
No.
It is well with
Just
webcams someday.
Describe the mime you're going to do to for Puggywog.
Okay, so I kind of...
This can't go badly.
Right.
Okay, so hold up 2 fingers to indicate 2 words.
Oh, we're going to do probably charade. Okay, so 2 words.
Does a fantasy word have charades?
Actually, I'm going to do 3 words.
Okay, she's holding up 3 fingers.
Okay.
Pug.
She's now holding up the 1 finger.
Okay, Pug.
Right.
Can you roll me an
Okay,
intelligence
so-
check?
Oh god!
Oh boy, here we go. Intel, okay, 15.
Okay.
Okay. That's
Okay,
That's not too bad.
so I hold up one finger.
Yeah.
It's not the middle one.
3, I hold up 1 finger.
Oh, you hold up your first finger. Okay.
Yeah. I'll describe the actions that she's doing as she's doing. So,
Right.
she's pointing towards you, Pug. So,
Pug
is
nods.
the first word?
Yes.
Okay, so now she's holding up 2 fingers.
Second word.
Okay, now she is shaking her head quite rapidly while sort of making if you imagine a crossway slashing motion with both hands. So, like, if you hold up your arms in an X.
Okay, so Pug
And
down.
then swiping downwards with both arms. Okay,
So,
3 fingers now.
So she's making an X and then swiping downwards.
Yeah, with both hands. So,
And shaking my head.
and shaking her head.
Okay, so Pug don't die.
The third word, 3 fingers. And now she's
Pug, can you make me another
punching the air.
intelligence check, please?
Oh, come on!
He's slow. He can only do like 3 words at a time.
Oh, Pug.
All right,
Wait, my performance was so high.
Pug. You get
There's have to be
distracted.
very small words.
You get distracted from this because a sort of big guy like shoulder barges past you from behind, and you sort of like get spun around, and then you have to find Arissa again to focus.
Okay.
So repeat the first 2 motions.
So, points at you.
Wait, is he still trying to find Risha again? Or
He's
did he,
looking
like,
at you. He's
instantly
looking at you.
Okay.
So I repeat the first 2 again. The pointing and then the egg slashing and shaking head.
Okay, so Pug don't, I got that.
Yeah, third word. So 3 fingers up.
Okay, and then she is now airboxing, so punching the air.
Pug don't punch? Are you fucking serious? That's all you have.
Yeah, that's it. That is what Arissa in her performing capacity has given you. Pug, no punch.
Pug don't punch. Alright. So I'm gonna walk.
Swiper, no swiping.
I'm not punching. Okay, so I'm gonna walk towards the exit and try to like do my best to like avoid the guys just walking in circles.
Okay, can you,
Get off me! Get off me!
Pug, can you please
Yes.
roll me a stealth check for avoiding
Stealth.
everybody? Like, you're not like...
Isn't it dexterity?
I'd say stealth because you're not... They can see you, but you're trying to stealth between them, like, as opposed to, like, dex.
Just flipping around.
Yeah.
Alright. Ooh, that's not good.
I say dex a lot. I'm trying to be more specific here.
Okay, stealth is gonna be 9.
Okay.
So everyone kind of notices that I'm there and they bump into me harder, right?
Yes. And you bump elbows with several people, and Okay, hang on.
I really just want to punch him in the face.
I don't know. Well, I mean, you can, like, you know, it's fine.
Arissa's shaking her head so much.
Okay. Pug. A big hulking guy shoulder barges past you, and you sort of flip past him, and the sword smacks another guy in the leg, and he turns around and reaches out his hand to go and grab the sword.
Oh no, that's not happening. I'm gonna
What is Pug doing?
I'm gonna grab onto the sword and keep it like clench it close to me so he can try, but he has to muscle it away from me.
Okay, so you're like holding it close to your chest, kind of thing.
Yeah. But you want to come take it from me, then?
Okay. Okay. The guy moves on, and you walk on, sort of like stealthily hugging the sword, walking through the room. You see you see another guy who reminds you of the leader of the gang called the Hangman's Joke back in Risha, who you stole the money and ran away from.
Right, that guy. Fuck that guy.
He is walking very purposefully towards you, like right from the other side of the room, and he's just walking straight towards you. He doesn't look like he's gonna move. You can't tell if he's coming to attack you or if he's just proving a point. He's not gonna move out of the way, and he's like probably about 5 paces away from you now.
He's a dwarf, right? Or is he something else now?
No, he looks the same. He looks the same.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna stand my ground and, like, I'm gonna try to look as intimidating as possible. Try to intimidate him. Stand my ground, look intimidated.
Okay, alright. The guy comes up to you, and he's, like, glaring up at you. And you guys, if you guys were the same height, you'd be, like, butting foreheads right now. And he's standing his ground too.
Now kiss!
He's making kissing.
I'm not gonna kiss the guy I stole a bunch of money from, so...
Wow.
I'm gonna walk around him.
Okay. The guy, sidesteps in front of you, and, sidesteps in front of you the other way. You have to, really edge around this guy to get out of the way. And
okay.
As you step around him, he's gonna, give you a shove in the side. And be like, ugh.
He's gonna elbow me, you said?
Yeah, he's gonna, proper elbow you in the ribs kind of jobby.
Okay. I can't punch him, fuck. I'm gonna, shove him. With my full body, kind of just, shove him out the way.
Rosie, before he tries to attack him, can I try to use chill touch to slap him in the face?
Just slap Pug?
Slap Pug or slap the guy that... Yeah.
Yeah, not the guy, no.
Fuck it, of course you can.
Stop him from shoving people.
Is that a cantrip or is it a spell?
It's a cantrip.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically just a skeletal hand.
Yeah, that's cool. Alright, Pug.
I can touch people with.
Pug, as you go to shove this guy, you feel someone slap your face.
Slap my face.
Yeah.
A skeletal hand.
That'll calm him down.
You probably didn't notice it was a skeletal hand. It was kind of cold, but literally somebody just smacked you in the face and then it was gone.
Yeah, it's necrotic damage as well.
Okay, I look around the room. It didn't look like it came from the other.
No, it didn't come from this dude, but it's smacked you in the face.
I have a good feeling I know who it came from.
I smile at Bug.
If I know where you are, I'll give you the fucking dirtiest look.
It's really disconcerting because you've never seen Kes smile before.
It's horrifying! It's horrifying!
Alright. I'm going to pull out my sword.
Are you going to pull out the sword?
Yeah.
Then we'll make everything better.
Okay. There is a... This one. Okay, there's a burst of bluey white light, and
Nice.
Pug, you find yourself on the other side of the door.
Okay. This the door. Alright.
You're now
So
standing beside the window next to your companions. You also took 5 points of necrotic damage, by the way.
Companions that had onions.
Yeah, Pug, you're stood next to... They've all been turned into onions. It's really weird. But yeah, you're stood next to a big glass window where all of your party members are standing. And, yeah. You're out.
Woohoo!
Right.
All you need to do was pull out the sword. Okay. Cool.
This seems
That
like
usually solves my problems.
I feel like this was an easier challenge in relation to everything else. Everything else that we've done.
I don't need the sword.
I'm surprised you didn't punch anyone. I'm proud of you.
Whoa!
Well, he always did until the situation was saved.
I almost did until I saw that like stellar charade show, man.
Thank you! And you look black. I am not a black for nothing.
It's a bard college and everything.
Exactly.
That's very true. Okay, so you hear the cool, calm voice, and all it says is, into the elevator for final escape.
Final escape.
Into the elevator, please, for final escape.
Okay, let's go to the elevator. Let's see if there's more treasure there.
Yeah, I kind of want to get out of here.
Yeah, cool.
Likewise.
Okie dokie.
Alright, you jump in the elevator, it takes you up, zzz, and you find yourselves on the spindly, spirally roof of the tower. The elevator still been better than the other stream, because that stopped and started a million times and was very awkward, but this one's still going better. So Sunday party for the win, guys. Just saying.
Best teams. Hashtag.
Okay. In answer to your question, nope, the tower hasn't mentioned any extra seconds at this point, no. And
That's cool.
At least we didn't lose any.
you get up onto the roof, and you're now shut. You're shut on the roof. There's no doors. You're on the top of the tower. You can see down. In fact, you can see the wagon and the horses where you left them. It's great.
Daytime.
It's still daytime, a bit later on in the day. You're guessing sort of late afternoon, but still daytime nonetheless. Well, daytime in Travise, so, you know, dingy, little bit red.
Right.
Sure.
And
It sounds like it's brightened up a little bit, but I'll leave the story inside for now.
the tower says, "Congratulations, all 5 of you. You have passed all 5 of your tests. You may now try to escape with your 60 seconds."
Hang on, 5.
All 5 of our tests. There were 6 tests.
And there were 6 of us.
That's what
But
the
there
tower
was
says. That's what the tower says.
Guys, let's not argue time. We only have
did
6
cheat
seconds.
on that test with the sword. There's something weird went on with the test with the sword.
Let's not argue the specifics while we like
Just go.
every second.
Yeah, right, that's good. Good point, let's move.
So, can we climb down or just run
How did we
ourselves
escape?
out?
In
Is it stairs?
60 seconds, this tower will collapse.
Oh!
Escape,
I have a parachute, right?
escape
We
before
have something
then
like that.
and be free. Your time starts now.
I think it's just everyone.
Alright.
I like that plan.
Everyone. Okay. What does everyone want to do? You're all starting to float in the air.
Woo!
I want to kind of swim towards the cart, swim down.
Okay.
Okay, try to use the castle as like leverage to climb down while floating.
Okay.
So just hold on to the castle.
I'm gonna start using firebolts to propel myself towards the car.
Okay. Alright. Cass, you can roll athletics to climb down.
But if you're floating, do I still need athletics? Should it be acrobatics?
Yes, but the DC will be much higher. Don't worry. Lower. Don't worry.
Lower. It better be lower because is it still athletics?
Yes, it's athletics. It'll be acrobatics in a minute if you need it.
Well, not really.
Okay. A 4 is still alright because you're floating. You're using the tower to sort of push yourself downwards at this point. Pug is doing like a frog impression, like swimming like a little frog through the air, like like it's very slow going though. And you can hit the tower counting down 37, 36. And you can hear it counting and counting and down and down and down and down. And you guys get about halfway down the tower and then it says time up and the entire tower explodes. Can everybody roll me a dexterity check to avoid the rubble that's going to start raining down on you?
Stop on rubbish ass.
Just straight dex.
Yep, just straight dex.
Yeah, we're not doing well.
Not very good at that.
I didn't roll well on this one.
Okay. Pug, Cass, and Belgarath, you guys are thrown to one side and land on the ground, sort of under a pile of small rocks and stones. You will take 2 hit points damage each, but it's not piercing or anything, it's just you had some bits that hit you on the way down. Ariel, you managed to float around it all and like dodge everything, like woohoo, while still keeping track of all your pixie dust on everyone else. Enna and Arissa, you guys actually managed to join hands and like float together and like dodge the bigger things, and you land on the floor. Arissa, you land on your feet next to the horse and wagon.
I sit on the wagon.
Alright guys, Arissa's in the driving seat.
So we're now going into the dangerous part of like this episode.
Yeah, obviously.
The epic escape.
As you guys all stand up and walk towards the wagon, the rubble of the tower vanishes and you can see the path ahead of you completely clear.
Well, that was a thing.
Yeah, I put the deals on my pockets.
Yeah, we saw what the treasure we got, right?
Yeah,
I thought we got more though. I thought there'd be more for us to get. That was slightly disappointing.
Oh my god, it was a bloody team building exercise.
And how well did it go?
You didn't die, so...
To be fair, I changed at least 2 people's colors in my people I hate list.
Okay. Would you all please roll me a perception check as well?
Oh wait,
Wait, holy shit.
Uh-oh.
wait. Arissa, see something?
Oh, Enna.
I'm just not paying attention at all.
Alright.
Anna's looking at the shiny thing she got in her pockets.
Okay, ironically, Cass, Arissa, and Belgarath, you guys all, and Errol actually, you guys all spot, when the tower disappears and the sort of like the dust settles, you spot something shiny on the path ahead of you.
Ooh!
Enna, ironically, Pug, you are sort of checking the sword's okay and like cleaning it down and stuff. Enna, ironically, you are so distracted by the jewels you've got that you don't notice that there could be more.
No!
Oh, Enna, also you got Enna, you have 12 gems.
Yay!
And anyone else who picked a gem up, you've got 1 expensive gem.
Except I don't carry mine.
Well, I'm going towards the shiny things that we noticed.
Yeah, I'm going towards the shiny stuff as well.
Arissa, are you gonna leave the wagon and go towards the shiny?
No.
Excellent choice. Okay. Those of you who've gone towards it, you see a small pile, a very small, modest pile of about 15 of the expensive gemstones.
Fuck, I can't take any.
Okay.
Can I notice that everyone else got up and left the wagon, and I
You
followed
can now, yes.
why they left the wagon?
I think it
Ariel,
was just Cass and Belgarath.
Ariel,
Yes?
you can see in the pile there is the big one that you flew around on has landed in the remnants of the tower and it is in there as well.
Didn't you take them out? Yeah. That should be in my pocket.
Ah, in which case it's fallen out of Kessa's pocket now that she's landed.
Okay.
Wait, Arista left the driver's seat to go inspect, right?
No.
Can I
We've already tried that, dude. You didn't like the fight.
I have a good idea. I tie a rope around the gem and pixie dust it.
Alright.
He now has a pair up.
I have another idea. Me and possibly Cass as well, we can lift Arisa out of the driver's seat.
No, I'm fine with this.
I'm sure between, the two of us, we can.
To be
Are you strong men handling me? Oh, it's a dream.
Ooh, so exciting.
You know what? I'm just going to use gust of wind and just throw her out of the seat.
I don't think it's not that bad. You didn't die.
I'm taking some gems. Saying that right now.
Okay, Belgarath, you get 4 gems. Cass, you get 4 gems.
Okay.
I'd like a gem.
Yeah,
I know, I'm sad.
Oh, treasure.
Pug, are you gonna go and get some gems? There's still some left.
I didn't notice it, I was busy with the sword.
Ah, Puggy one.
Unfortunately.
He's always busy with his sword.
Yeah.
Oh, mom.
Pun intended.
Rosie,
Yes.
my new pet dog reminded me of a thing.
Okay.
That's nice.
Oh my god, I love.
That's funny.
so cute. So cute.
I love it. So, are you guys gonna pocket the rest of the gems between you then? Because there's 15 in total. You've had
Yeah.
Cass, you had 4. Belgraph, you had 4. So 8, 9, 10. So there's like 7 left. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna be able to take another one, I guess.
okay. Well, divide them how you see fit. I'll let you guys argue about that because that'll be way more fun.
I will take 3.
All right. You note down how many you've got, and then
Yeah.
Why are there no stats for a pet dog on any homebrew sites?
okay. Are you all gonna hop back in the wagon and carry on your way to the capital?
Oh, I'm on the horse. I'm on the horse.
Cass can be on the horse, of course. Yes.
I don't need to enjoy the wagon. That's why I'm fine with Arista driving.
I'll sit shotgun on the front of the cart.
Okay, and so you're all gonna jump on your way, yes?
Yep.
I suppose so,
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess I'll go on the cart. Try not to throw out the sun.
Arissa, can you make me an animal handling check, please?
Okay. Nat 20.
I'm going.
Look!
Yeah, no, nat 20. I'm going to lie down flat down, face down on the wagon and just strip it with every extremity I can.
Alrighty. With a... You guys scuttle off into the distance. And you guys travel until early evening, still on your way towards the capital of Rog. And I will wrap up the session in about 5 minutes' time. And what I will say is that you guys have still got a fair way to go before you get to the capital. So you will probably pull over, make a camp for the evening, somewhere quiet, make a campfire. Or 2 if Kess doesn't want to share the main one.
Sorry?
Doesn't sound like something she'd do.
Sorry, what was that?
You can sit around the campfire with everyone else, Kess. You're welcome. You'll enjoy it. It'll be great.
Why are we doing the campfire? What's happening?
You've still got a long way to go before you get to the capital, and so you drive until it gets to like quite late in the evening, and then you guys settle down to have a rest and some food, regain your hit points, and you guys go to sleep. You wake up refreshed. You've got all your hit points back. I'm going to put this in the chat just so we know for next time. Refresh. I'll do your XP in a minute.
It's enough to level up, right?
You need 1,400 to level up, my friend.
Fuck.
How much? But we did get a fair amount from there, right? Right.
Maybe.
Did we get any extra? Oh,
I'll tell you in a minute. You wake up in the morning to the sound of a scuffle.
Ooh.
And I leave you on this note. Pug, I'm going to say you probably took the last watch, just because why not? You were sitting up and you heard a noise. You looked around, couldn't see the source of it, and then suddenly, bounding in front of you, there appears a sort of scruffy, hooded, humanoid figure, and he takes you completely by surprise. You jump up and
Punch Jason.
you're still taken by surprise right now, so he's gonna rock up to you and he says this.
Great mustache, man. Nothing personal.
And as he says that, he's going to take a strike at you with massive werewolf claws. And that is where we shall leave it for today.
Okay, we're leaving it off with us being attacked by werewolves.
So Pug now becomes a werewolf. Great.
So he's now a werewolf with a magical sword who also likes to punch people.
Well, he didn't get hit yet. He's about to get hit.
And biting.
Oh yeah, and he also has a curse on his shoulder as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's eating the kid's life away as well.
There's a lot going on with Pug right now.
I love how the comment is like about his mustache for like attacking.
Yeah, it's not personal, it's just about the disgusting mustache.
Yeah, Pug just has an entire book's worth of backstory going on with him right now. But it's okay, the rest of you will soon too.
I have a question in regards to the backstories. Will mine be slightly different from the Tuesday group?
Yes.
Okay.
Message me and let me know what you would like it to be.
Ooh.
Mwahaha. Because I will warn you all now that within the next session, you guys will have hit the main plot of your story, of your campaign.
Yay!
As in, all of this stuff is a part of it too, but you'll be on a very bigger track. Well, unless you all completely fuck up, of course. Which means that, like... Which means that, like, all of your backstories and potential future things I've planned are going to start slotting together. And there's at least 2 of them that are coming up quite soon as well. So if you're ever going to miss a session, it's cool, but make sure you let us know in advance so that I can edit backstories around it. And I love you all.
Oh, we're having one next week, right?
You guys should be. Let me just double check because you guys...
Yes, we're having a session next week.
You guys have one early one. I'm just going to double check so I've got my dates right because there's 1 week where I'm away. And I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna end the recording and then we'll we'll discuss dates because this sounds quite boring to everyone on
Okay,
YouTube.
okay.
To all our millions and millions of fans, we say good night and adieu, and we love you very much. Goodbye.
No.
Talk to you guys.